And now on Who's Views, it's time for the latest headlines with JT and the Whotastic panel.
Here we go then. Hello, Who Viewers. Welcome back to Who's Views. This is your big show. It's Sunday, the 8th of December, and it's headlines. How are you all? Hope you are very, very well. Oh, look, I want to say a huge thank you straight away to Gore Vidal, who I noticed earlier today sent us a chat saying hello and thank you and nice to see you all. And it's gone, so I can't put it on the screen. I don't know what happens there. We get it right at the very beginning. So I don't know, but he was first in the chat tonight, everybody. There you go. We're going to be coming to the rest of you in just a few short minutes because, yeah, it is your big show and we've got a lot to get through today, haven't we? Yes, we have indeed, because have you heard? Well, there's a certain trailer that's dropped and the response is, well, it's sort of flatlining. Have you noticed? Yes, Series 3. RTD is sticking to his guns, as we've been reporting for some time here on Headlines. He doesn't know if there's going to be one. But does he? Let's look through the cracks of that one towards in this show, shall we? And also, yes, have you heard? Ncuti Gatwa is the bestest actor in the world ever. Yeah, we're going to be looking at all that coming up. Let's see what not only what you guys are going to be saying in this, but what these two are going to be saying. It's Paul, and of course, it's Third Doctor Ian. What a week, everybody!
Indeed, evening all.
Evening, yes.
Evening all. That's
quite a week.
Dixon of Dark Green Days, that evening all.
You're showing your age there, GT.
Lots of you joining us already in the chat. And I just want to say straight away, hello and thank you to Digby Strawbridge for this super chat. Thank you so much. Great to see you, mate. Evening, JT. Evening, the fabulous panel. Evening, lovely people in the chat. Well, that's so lovely of you, Digby. Thank you for that. And I hope you're going to enjoy this particular show. Cheers. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much. What a great way to start the show there.
It's lovely. Lovely.
Yeah. Appreciated.
Yeah, it really is. So that's that. Now, listen, as usual, I'd like to say a huge thank you to everybody that's been getting in touch with us this week. The mailbox is huge, as I'm sure you'll know. So thank you. Keep it coming. I do need to reiterate, it does take me a little bit of time to get in touch with you all, but I will respond as soon as I can. You can get in touch with us all here at whosviews1@gmail.com. whosviews1@gmail.com. And that's exactly what a lot of you who've been doing, as I say, this week, which is fantastic. So I want to say huge thanks and shout outs to Simon Leavesley, to Craig Sims, to Gore Vidal, who I mentioned before, to Colin Smith, to Eddie Day Riley, to Paul Rose, to Paul Roughton, to Ray Teasdale and his mum. Thank you so much. And also to Paul Leith. Paul Leith, actually, listen, I'm a little bit jealous about Paul Leith, guys, because Paul is down in Australia, and today or this weekend he has attended a British film festival down there, and look what he got to see.
Oh, very nice.
And he
says it's going to say Power of the Daleks there for a minute, you know.
Wishful thinking there, Ian.
Yeah. This, of course, is the big brand new Wallace and Gromit film, TV movie, Vengeance Most Foul, which sees the return of one of the most iconic villains ever in my book, with Feathers McGraw coming back. But look, this is the Netflix version of the poster, because everybody thinks it's a BBC thing. It's also a Netflix thing, and you can see it there only on Netflix, January the 3rd. Whereas we in the United Kingdom get it on Christmas Day on BBC One as well. So you can get it on both if you're in the UK, as far as I'm aware. So he got to see it today, and I'm a little bit jealous because he says it's absolutely smashing.
I've seen the trailer for it. It looks great.
I haven't seen the trailer. I'm staying away from it. I'm staying away from all that. I am that keen because I'm a big Wallace and Gromit fan. I really, really am, and I'm very excited about this. So I'm staying away from all the trailers, and I'm going to sit down with the family on Christmas Day, and I'll watch it then, and hopefully that will make my Christmas Day because nothing else is going to.
Yeah, I'll cheer you up after Doctor Who, I'd imagine, anyway. Yes.
Oh gosh, yeah. We're going to be talking about that. I also want to say, guys, a huge thank you to Ian Barler, who was with us today. Hopefully you're in the chat, Ian, because he's been shopping today in Chester and bumped into an old friend.
Ah,
It's Ian Barlow. Sorry, I can't read my own writing. Ian Barlow. There you go. Look at that. Isn't that great?
That's lovely.
brilliant.
And with a Christmas Dalek as well. That's very nice. Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously, Mr. Dalek is off out Christmas shopping as well.
As they
But,
do. Yeah. Yeah.
Gosh, I wonder how things are in Chester these days. I haven't been to Chester for a good few years now. But thanks for that, Ian. Really appreciate that one as well. I love it when people send me pictures of things like that and say, look, this is
Yeah.
what I've been up to. This is what I've seen. Oh, really, really good. So as I say, who's views one at gmail.com. Let's have a look and see who's in the chat, shall we?
Yes.
This is from Woodhouse122. I've just watched the first 2 episodes of the Wheel in Space animation on the Tube of Who and had to stop because of Who's Views. Well, I'm glad you have. So put that one on hold and go back to it, because this is something we were going to talk about tonight. This is a brand new animation that's appeared, and they've done very well, because I noticed that in today alone, the subs to this channel have gone up by 300 in just a few short hours. So
Wow.
congratulations to Liz and Steve Skinner. Now, you guys, I don't know if you've had time to look at it, but I sent you the link for this. These are brand new animations by Liz and Steve Skinner, and they've done the Wheel in Space. And I only learned about this today, everybody. And I was sent the link by a friend of mine. He said, you've got to see this. And I'm really, really impressed by these.
Well, I watched part 1 before we came on when you sent the link to me, and I saw a couple of clips of it. I thought, not sure, but then sat down and watched it and was blown away by it. It's really, really good, I think.
I've subbed the TARDIS Girl channel for quite a few years.
Have you?
Yeah, I think it's about 15 years ago. There was
Wow.
like a 2D Wheel in Space, sort of like a trailer for Wheel in Space, if you like. And even then, the quality of work was stunning. And I mean, if you look back on their videos, you'll see one from about 15, 16 years ago, Wheel in Space. And it's obviously a favorite, with good reason. But the quality of what they were doing then was amazing. And seeing it now rendered 3D instead of just really, really, really good 2D is even better. And you can just imagine where, in another year or two, this is going to be. But it's fantastic, and it obviously knocks a lot of the BBC stuff out of the park.
Oh, it totally does. It totally does.
What I was impressed was the fact that human movements come on leaps and bounds. It's so much better, because it was so jerky before, but this is quite smooth, isn't it? It's incredible.
It really is. At this point as well, let's just mention the channel again. This is the TARDIS Time Girl here on the Tube of Who. So if you haven't found it yet, go and look for it after the show and go and look at the work here, because it really, really is good stuff. I was very impressed by this. Now, I also want to say thank you to Paul Stenterford, who also got in touch via whosviews1@gmail.com and just dropped me an email this afternoon as I was watching the things, actually, as I was looking at them all. And Paul Stenterford got in touch and said, hi, I'm not sure if you've seen this, but this just dropped today, Sunday the 8th. And it's a husband and wife team by the names of Liz and Steve Skinner. And they've just animated the missing episodes of the Doctor Who story, The Wheel in Space. The pair have worked on about 6 of the official BBC's animated lost episodes range. They've extensively used camera scripts, audio and telesnaps to recreate these episodes. And they even use a motion capture system for the characters, which, in Paul's opinion, at least, far surpasses anything released by the BBC so far. He goes on to say, these recreations actually look very like the episodes from the 60s, and their aim has to be as faithful as the original episodes as possible. Now, guys, Paul Stenterford then actually goes on to say that he's heard that the crazy thing about all of this is that Liz and Steve had a meeting, allegedly, with the BBC about officially getting some partnership going to release the animations. And the BBC told them that although they liked the animations, they weren't interested in officially releasing them, as they believed that the fans don't want 3D animation.
Well, we don't want more of the Web of Fear one. Remember the Web of Fear one? That was a bit, so what any more of that? But we want more of Wheel in Space, definitely. Please, give us more of that. Yeah.
I don't see how the BBC can, in any way, shape or form, claim to have a finger on the pulse of classic Who fandom. They don't have a clue. They're not focused on it. They're not engaged with that area of fandom. All they're interested in is that 0.3% little mind virus audience that they constantly pander to. That they've not got a clue about anything else. They've not got a clue about everybody that we know, we've seen it. Everybody that's commented so far has loved it. Why would they not?
Exactly. And this is, I absolutely totally agree with you. And I think it's certainly because they are listening to that small minority of people that can't watch things for more than 25 minutes. You know, that lot, the crystal meths and all that nonsensical lot that they're doing all this coloured version for, you know, the coloured version. And it drives me insane. That's a project. I was watching this, and as I said to Paul before we came on air tonight, I'd buy that. If they brought out the Wheel of Space as a Blu-ray, a DVD, and a steelbook, I'd probably buy all three if it was that quality.
Yeah.
You know, so stop, BBC Studios, listening to your minority, your mythical audience, which does not exist as a majority, and start listening to the proper fans like us. If somebody brings you a gift like that, stop dismissing them. You've been doing this for 30 years, and I know that for a fact. Stop dismissing things. Get on with it. Develop it. And do something proper for once. Just for once. Because we don't want the nonsense you're producing now, and your sales figures should be showing that. Get a grip.
I think the thing is, like they've done many times before, they've sold everything to us 3 times. So we'll get all these. So we'll go back to, let's say, the Reign of Terror, and that'll be this kind of animation, and they'll resell it to us every time, and we'll buy it every time, which is sad. Really,
The weird thing is about this is, we want the quality, isn't it? Do you know, Paul? We want the quality.
Yeah.
And if they're going to start churning out nonsense because a report tells them that it has to be for this mythical audience they're all crying out about. I mean, I haven't got any of the nonsense that they're putting out now. I haven't got the Celestial Toy Maker or anything. I'm not interested. I'm really not. I'm quite happy to have it not on the shelf.
As George was saying, there's a photographic reconstruction of CT on the disc, which is better than the animation, which would be difficult. And it's really, really good. And this husband-wife couple you mentioned, they've worked on that, doing some of the motion capture stuff that they did on it, which is really good. You know.
Yeah, it is. What your have you seen this in the chat? I'll get to you in a second because the chat's going really quickly again. But get to you in a second. Have you seen this? What do you think of it? Go Vidal is with us. No worries, JT. It's good to see you. My comment was about rewatching Genesis of the Daleks last night and wondering what a great experience it must have been seeing it when it premiered. Oh, actually, well, well, do you know what? Maybe it was. I'm slightly younger than those two. And for me,
only
it was
slightly.
A year, by a decade at least. But you know, I didn't think about it like that. It was just another bit of telly. It was just telly. When I was sitting down as a kid on the 70s and the 80s, to me, it wasn't a big deal. It was just Doctor Who, and it was.
But it was great telly, though. It's great telly, wasn't it?
Superb telly. Yeah. And as Brian is saying to us, real telly. Exactly, not like the nonsense we're getting today. It's great to see you all, everybody. Welcome to your Sunday Big Show here. Sam's with us saying, hi all, what have I missed? Nothing yet. We're just talking at the moment about this lovely animation that's going around the place today from the TARDIS Time Girl channel. So yeah, I've reached out. TARDIS Time Girl, if you're watching us, I've reached out. I've sent you a message. Come and talk to us about it. You'd be very welcome on Headlines. Drawing Jack Rabbit. Jack, hello, how are you? It's good to see you. Yes, I know you do, buddy. Love Wallace and Gromit, and I hope it's really good. So do I. I am so excited about it, Jack. I can't wait. That's the only thing on Christmas Day I'm interested in seeing. The rest of it can go. I just don't care. I don't care. And we should talk about it actually on the show maybe in January. Stephen Braddock is saying, is that Fozzie Bear? It is Fozzie, isn't it?
It's Fozzie and Kermit, I think. Yeah.
Oh, how lovely. Oh, yeah, I see Kermit now. I see that. I've not watched any footage at all of Wallace and Gromit, and I don't want to spoil it. Exactly. And Julianne, hello, Julianne. Look, Wallace and Gromit is the only thing I'm watching on BBC on Christmas Day. Exactly. What else is on?
Was it Fozzie Bear and Kermit, or was it Russell T Davies and Moffat? I can't.
You're naughty.
It's that same grin, isn't it?
Yes.
Stop insulting the Muppets. Told you before. Hello, Mark Milford, our resident poet laureate here on Who's Views. He's saying hello, Who's Views family.
Hi,
how
Mark.
Lovely. Fab Dalek, Ian. He looks gorgeous. Now, is that Ian from the picture? Ian Barlow. I think it wasn't it? Because you can't see Ian's, but behind Ian, our Ian down there, our Ian, he's got a Dalek hidden in the dark.
Is our Ian's Dalek not wrapped up in bubble wrap as we speak?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, so make sure he can breathe. Leave holes in it, okay? Otherwise,
Oh, brilliant! Hi, fellas. This is Golden Age Geek, and we've got Marjorie, the lovely Marjorie's with us. Great picture of Ian in the black Dalek, wasn't it? It was absolutely fantastic, and I fancy seeing all that there. Chris, hello, Chris Graham. There are more episodes on the internet about the program now than actual good, proper episodes now on the main show. This is my favorite Doctor Who magazine show. It's the best, in my opinion. Well, you are quite correct, of course. A round of applause for you.
Yeah, quite right. Yeah.
Chris Graham, you are a man of taste and common sense, decency and intelligence. That's what I say. Well
Very
done, you.
Yeah.
What else have we got? Woodhouse122 is saying about the episodes there from TARDIS Time Girl. Episodes 1 and 2 are amazing. Yeah. Another Paul Rose. I think we're up to 4 Pauls on the Paulometer. Paul Rose saw a life-size Dalek in an antique shop not far away, homemade and very beat up. It looks rough and wooden, and they're asking 300 quid. No thanks. I'm not surprised. 300 quid for something that's like that.
I'd love to see photographs of it. It'd be nice. Yeah.
I know. Pop down over the week if you can, in the wind, in the rain, and everything like this. If you're in Britain right now, keep safe because it is slightly windy out there. But we carry on because we are British. And
you look at for Storm Dara. Other storms are available. Yeah.
Storm
Do you
Dara.
remember when we didn't call them names and we didn't get all freaked by this? Oh, it's a storm. It was just a tad windy, wasn't it? And it was going to be a bit of rain.
Exactly. That's the British way, isn't it? We just say, "Oh, there's a little breeze out there, dear." Dorothy Gale swims by, you know. But anyway, yeah. Have the team seen the new Wheel in Space animation? It's amazing. Yes, Stephen, that's what we're just talking about now. You see, I'm catching up with everybody now on this one. And Garbage is saying, I love that the animation is in black and white too. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it sort of captures it all, doesn't it? Stephen has then added to it, it's so good I would pay for those versions of the Wheel. Are you listening, BBC? Of course they're not listening. They don't care. They know best. They're looking after the mythical audience, the minority, rather than the millions of Doctor Who fans they've alienated over the last 6 or 7 years. We've inspired John Mason to go and have a look at that after this show. Quite right, too, I say, after this show. And Dalek Eye saying, I've seen it. It's very good. Digby is back to say, why can't the Beeb ask fans to make the reconstructions? They seem so much better.
Yeah.
Gosh, that's probably asking too much. And the Legion of James, hello, mate. How are you? Hi, folks. I've just made it. Well, good. And Digby, yes, as I say there, could we get the animators on for a chat? I have reached out to them. So I've sent them a message. So if they come across this show, I've sent you a message to Liz and Steve. You're very welcome to come talk to us on the show. That would be brilliant. We want to know more about it.
That'd be lovely, yeah. Fantastic, yeah.
It would be fabulous. So
stay with us. They're working on an episode 3 of the Web of Fear as well, apparently.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. So Woodhouse122 is also saying.
The fingers
with Rory there.
Yeah.
Oh.
That would be good.
This is what wonders me. Steve Braddock's saying to us, and these episodes of the Wheel Space are all free to watch on YouTube, which is why I'm wondering that as soon as the BBC, tomorrow morning, the BBC will probably come in and go, oh, we can't have that. Oh, no, we can't have that. They're doing stuff, and we'll pull that, and we'll send them sort of watch. And they should have gone into partnership with them, shouldn't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You think if they animated Gatwa, they would make him more realistic?
No.
It's a bit of a stretch, isn't it? I suppose.
Well, it is. Yeah.
The science fiction and you're taking that far too far. Really, so.
I don't suppose you can take something that is just barely one-dimensional, extrapolate that out to be three-dimensional. Can you?
Yeah, that's a tough call. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Even AI can't do that, can it? Do you know what I mean? Len looks back. Hello. How are they allowed to do these animations? Well, they're not.
Well, they're described as fan projects to try and get around that a little bit, but they're not really meant to. Yeah.
They're not really meant to. No, they'll get get a slap on the hands eventually. So after this show, go and have a look at them all. You know, because I bet the BBC, as I say, the BBC will come in tomorrow morning, Monday morning, saying, "Hey, did you see the fuss yesterday?" Hello to Tony Farrell's TARDIS. Nice to see you. John Mason saying to us, rather have for free on YouTube than £30 from the BBC. And Gore Vidal, trailer looks like a Hallmark film. Oh, we're going to be coming to that in just a second, everybody. Oh, yes, we are. Hello to William Orlock's with us, guys. Wheel is top Cyberman thrills, and the BBC is clueless as usual.
Having watched part 1, I've always liked part 1. It's a cracking first episode. I really like it. It's just mainly the Doctor, Jamie, and the server robot, which is really lovely. It's nice. I
like the book as well, because remember the Target book was the nearest we got to it, and still is really to seeing anything to do with it. I quite enjoyed that, you know, because I love the Cybermen. I just thought,
can I ask you guys understanding of it? Is a server robot a servant of the Cybermen, or is he part of the Silver Carrier spaceship? I'm not sure.
Part of the spaceship, as far as I'm concerned.
Right. Okay.
That was
I'll
my
double check on that.
understanding as well. Yeah.
Because he helps the Cybermen at the end with those fantastic balls that look like from the prisoner that they hatch out of. You know, those
Well,
eggs.
I would imagine
Yeah.
they can get reprogrammed.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Isn't that in the book? I can't remember where it was somewhere. That's in my head.
Yeah.
That's but yes, lots and lots and lots of fantastic comments. There's Paul there. Those Wheel in Space animations are gorgeous, and I recommend everyone check them out after the show. I think that it's criminal that the BBC don't want to release this commercially because they want to stick with their own people, don't they, Paul? You know, they want to stick with the clique so that they get any residual royalties and stuff like that. Allegedly, that's the way I think it is. Oh, you know. You're in with the in crowd with us. The people that, certain people have said work with them, and they've got authority and they don't have authority. And do you know what I'm saying there? All the cliquey things that make it sick. Please, they do my head in. I don't know. Bill Larry saying, thanks for the heads up on that one. You're very, very welcome. And thank you, John is saying, just subscribe to Tell This Time Girl and gave a mention to Who's Views. That's the way to do it. Well done, John. Let's see if she gets in touch, because she'd be very welcome to come on. Yes, so thank you for everybody for that. Lovely to see you all. Welcome, 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 welcome. So that was that particular bit. Oh, Andy's Vinyl, what are you saying to us here? The BBC most likely don't want to pay for animations that have already been completed. It means they had no opportunity to influence the content. You think they'd have enough influence, though, Andy, wouldn't you, by providing the original scripts, wouldn't you? Do you know what I mean? I would think. I don't know. But yeah, so there we go. Yes, so let's see what happens with that one, and go and have a look at that after the show. We've also got the news this week. Well, we all know that something's on the way back. December the 23rd on BBC 4 is the day that the BBC bring the latest in colour to us all, isn't it? On BBC 4, is it? BBC 4 and
BBC 4, yeah.
BBC 4 and the iPlayer. We know that the War Games is on the way. It's been colorized for a new mythical audience, so it's on for about 10 seconds. But, however, Rich Tipple this week tweeted, or X'd, whatever we call it these days, at the producer screening for the War Games in colour with Keris Doyle, Mark Ayres, RTD, and BC. What an amazing couple of days working with the most talented people. The War Games in colour will transmit on BBC 4 the 23rd of December 2024. Hashtag Doctor Who. There he is on the left there with these people there and the colorized version behind them.
I have to the colours version, that bit on Gallifrey looks amazing. It's a shame the people in front are in the front, but never mind.
Yeah. I mean, you can't fault the colorization. There's care, there's love, there's accuracy there. We would hope some poetic licenses we saw with the Daleks, I would imagine, but that's okay. But it does look good. But again, as we're saying here, it's just not for the majority. It's not for the Doctor Who fans. It's for the minority that think shooting out was the best thing since sliced bread. I mean, there's not many of them. Let's face it.
I think there's 3 of them. I think.
Is that many?
As many as that, yeah. It's not double figures anyway, at least, but yeah. Oh, there's a lot of chat coming through with this now as well, with Bill telling us that 244 minutes down to 90 minutes can only be butchered. Yeah.
We'll soon find out, won't we? 23rd of December, that's coming through, everybody. If you're going to be bothering to watch it. We do have a poll at the moment as well on our Tube of Who here in the community tab, where we're asking you, are you going to watch it? Yes or no? And at the moment, the no's are winning.
Well, I'm a yes. I can't help but rubberneck on these things. So, yeah.
Yeah. I'm still on the fence, but we'll have to see, because we are going to review it, aren't we? We're going to do a show, so I might watch it.
Yeah,
I'll watch it out of curiosity for that. But I mean, my level of expectation is based on what we saw with the Daleks, and that was catastrophic. I think Mark Ayres embarrassed himself. He had quite a good track record with his history and involvement in the show, but I think he absolutely embarrassed himself in his career with what he did on the Daleks, and it was justifiably linked to Benny Hill.
Yeah, I don't know where he found that album from, but it must have been his collection.
Yeah, it was just ridiculous. So I'm not expecting too much. I would like to think that they've learned from their mistakes, but then I don't think they learn from anything because they think they're always right.
Yes.
So there may be something where they're traipsing across the battlefield of World War I you know, scenes of great carnage, and they're probably whistling a jolly tune, you know, and or dancing the Macarena. I don't know.
I think the Benny Hill theme would work very well when the Romans are chasing everyone in the chariot.
Yes.
That'd be quite good. I think. Yeah.
That would
work really well. I can see how that would
would
be
different.
seamless. Yes.
I think you've got a point there, Ian, about them not having learnt anything, because you know they have been certain people from that team have been entering into. Well, they haven't been nice on X or any of the social media platforms with fans again, basically. It's the usual stuff. So we've had certain fans there that have critiqued this and said, oh, da, 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 da. And then they've come back totally unprofessional, defending their work, which they shouldn't do. I don't think they should do. I think they should say, thanks for your comment. Get back to us after you've seen it. But no, they have to go on with this whole thing about, blah, 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 blah. Oh, it's not for you. It's not for you. Oh, come on, grow up.
The thing
people.
about any art form, we've talked to us before, if you present it to an audience, they can give it criticism. When you release a book or a film, people see it and they can criticize it, and you're open to that. That's why you're in the arts, and you want people to say they love it or they don't love it. You have to take it on the chin, the good reviews and the bad reviews. You know.
You're right, Paul. I agree with you, but they don't anymore, do they? They absolutely don't. What they do is they take it to heart, they take it personally, and because they are in this echo chamber, this bubble of they're right and the rest of us are wrong. Well, wake up, people, because the world's changing, and it's already changed. Have you seen the news this weekend? You know, you're the minority. You're the minority, and you've got to get back to reality now. And one way to do that, to start from you guys, is to stop attacking your critics who are fans. We are fans. We are entitled to critique. That's what we do. And when you butchered the Daleks, expect to get real bad critique. When you've told the majority of us, we don't want you and Doctor Who is no longer for you, expect it. Don't just keep on judging. They drive me mad. They really, really do. We've got Legion of James here, guys, saying, why have they not bothered to include Fraser Hines and Wendy Padbury in any of the promotional stuff for War Games? Well, they wouldn't have occurred to them because there's nothing to do with Fraser or Wendy.
Because they've seen it. So.
Yeah, they probably had most of their scenes cut out anyway.
Probably, yeah. So barely a cameo for Jamie and Zoe, to be honest.
Yeah, it's at the end.
Yeah,
and we've also got
a recap of them coming out of the TARDIS in episode 1.
And getting into the side rat at the end, that'll be it. So,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Bless. The colour looks amazing, says Woodhouse122. It's just the awful editing and dire music that I'm concerned about. Again, yeah, totally agree. And then they'll try and do what they did with the Daleks and flog it in various formats. Blu-ray, Steelbook, DVD, soundtrack album. Let's see how that goes for them. What we got here again from Paul Stenterford. I shudder to think how the BBC are going to re-edit the War Games. Hopefully this time they'll be more respectful to the original material, but I'm not holding my breath. I will be amazed if they are, because they're so focused on this mythical audience. And with BC considering to edit it, and there was one response I saw from him recently to one of the fans criticizing his work on the Daleks. He did admit, BC did admit, well, I haven't been doing this for very long, but I'm learning from the best. Well, why has he got the job? I'll tell you why he's got the job, because he's part of the clique.
Yeah.
Part of the clique. And he's part of that whole cult that they've got there as well, isn't it? You know? And it makes me
I'm sorry, but being an editor is a skill. It's a real skill you have to have. So if you're not experienced, you shouldn't be doing it. You really shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Mark Reeves is saying to us, how many times watching War Games will we be shouting, what happened to that bit? Yeah, I hate to think how many times, actually. And Time Lord Victorious is joining us. Evening Goal, the colorization looks good from what we've seen so far. I think we can all agree all we want is good Doctor Who. RTD, you're not giving us that. You're putting your ego first. Oh, and isn't it getting smudged at the moment? We'll be coming to this very soon, so stay with us, everybody. And Bill Larry telling us, editing 60s Who to Movieland stories is more than doable with care and love. But then colorized to attract new fans, great. But what we've seen so far has been appalling. I'm at the point now where I don't give a flying toss about new fans, because it's not bringing them in. That's the job of the main show, not of 1960s Doctor Who. 1960s Doctor Who is done and dusted. That's for us. If people who are new to the show want to find it, go and buy the DVD or go and buy the Blu-ray. But it's not the job of Doctor Who from the 60s, 70s, or 80s to bring in new fans, I don't think. I think that should always be the job of the main show here and now in the present. That's just my opinion.
No, I don't have a problem with that. I think you're right. But they have to tamper, don't they? They have to tamper and try and. I mentioned it before that they are like RTD, especially, is like a feral cat, wanting to spray its scent over classic Who, which is better than his Who, and he wants to spray his scent over that because it's better than his stuff, and he wants to claim it as his and mark it as his territory, And there's no real reason that he should be at anything to do with the war games, colorized or otherwise. He had nothing to do with it at all.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with it. He was what? He was 4 years old when it was on. I don't know how old he was.
Like,
6 years old, 7,
6,
whatever.
something like that, wasn't he? Yeah.
Not all to do with it. He nothing at all. Not even accidentally did he have anything to do with the war games. And yet there he is with that rictus grin on his face, making it look like he's the one and big and I am, as far as that's concerned. That was great efforts by all the production crew at the time in very, very trying, difficult circumstances when it very, very, really nearly was the very last Doctor Who story ever. And
considering the trouble we had to get season 6 together, this is a masterpiece, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, totally. Yeah, totally. And the money situation as well, don't forget. Lack of it. Paul Rose is saying to us, most Marvel movies today are 2 hours or more, so the short attention argument doesn't really hold water. That's a good point, that actually, isn't it? So what's the difference between them going to the cinema and watching a film for that long? I mean, look at the huge success of Wicked. Now, I know the target audience for Wicked is mainly women and gay men, but we've got all these youngsters going, and when I went to see it, there were little ones there involved in the film, involved in the musical for all that time. And that's noticeable because they weren't fidgeting. They weren't getting up and down all the time. They weren't doing all this. They weren't looking at phones all the time because you're not allowed phones in there, obviously. They were watching the entertainment. And it was entertaining. I'll give it that. I might not like the lead actors because they're completely loop-de-loop, but the film is stunning. And I'd recommend it to anyone. The film is stunning. But you're right, Paul. They're watching these things, and so what's the difference between that and the telly? Well, the fact is that the television isn't entertaining for them, and there's lack of that sort of discipline, if you like, of going into a room being told switch off your phone, can't do this, you can't do this. There's your drink, there's your hot dog, popcorn, get on with this. It's that flexibility they have at home. I think that's what the situation is, but also I think it's the fact, as I've said before, they listen to the wrong people. They're listening to the people who were fired from the Time Team, for example. Oh, we can't watch that, it's too slow. You're already old news, love. You people that said that, you're old now. Let's see what the kids are doing. I don't know. That's what I think, Paul Rose.
Well, the thing is, everything gets old. That's what happens. That's life, But,
try telling
end
that
of my sermon. There we are.
I think with Marvel movies, I mean, if you look at Marvel movies, or you look at Enemy of the World, I think one has millions and millions and millions of pounds thrown at it and looks visually stunning, bloody, bleeding, blah, right? But then you have the other, which is 1960s sci-fi that you've really got to think and keep your concentration going. And the other one you don't, which is probably why they can make it through 2 hours, but they probably couldn't with Doctor Who because they've actually got to engage the grey matter a little bit.
Yeah. That's probably actually, I like that point, Ian, but that's probably why they've taken all that engagement out of Doctor Who now.
Yeah.
But
the thing is, don't talk down to your audience. That's stupid, isn't it? And Doctor Who's never done that, has it?
No,
never has.
And proper Doctor Who is actually intelligent. You do have to think about the story. You do have to engage with the story. Compare all proper Doctor Who to something like The Devil's Board or Space Babies, which is just nonsense. You don't need an IQ there, do you? Just turn up and you can be a jelly and watch that and not get anything. I mean, it's ridiculous. Thanks for all your comments. Keep them coming, everyone. If modern audiences are so important, says Mudcrab, and MA love colour, then when is the 1939 Wizard of Oz going to be fully colorized?
That wouldn't surprise me being that stupid, because I remember seeing that originally in the 70s, and that moment when it transfers from black and white to colour is amazing. It's a fantastic
stunning
moment. Yeah.
I remember seeing that in the 70s on telly at Christmas and being blown away because my whatever. I can't remember how old I was, Paul. It must have been about 6 or 7.
Yeah, me
And
too. Yeah.
it was the first time I'd ever seen it, and it was on BBC One. And I remember thinking, black and white.
Yeah.
My generation, we can cope with that. It's fine. And that moment where she opens the door, and
Yeah, it's very clever, very clever. Yeah,
and it was a Christmas as well, so it was so special.
only thing was, after that, GT was on every Christmas from then on.
And I loved it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not really though, is it? They've taken it off in the past few years. It's probably
on PC now, I'd imagine, for a number of reasons.
There was a few years, definitely 70s and into the 80s, where it was always Wizard of Oz, it was always Gone with the Wind, and it was always
Sound of
Sound of
Music.
Music.
Yeah, true.
Oh, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Yeah, but you know what? They brought people in. So people watch, and a new set of kids were watching them every other year, weren't they? I love it. I absolutely love it. That's Christmas to me. And those sparkly shoes, love it. Christmas. So thank you for that. Graham is saying to us, if they are looking for this mythical audience, I question if the War Games is a good choice for them. No monsters, lengthy and complex. Us fans love it, but I can't see many newbies getting it. Now, that's interesting you say that, Graham, because a friend of mine said that to me the other day. So why have they chosen the War Games? And I think it's all deliberately done so they can pop in the regeneration.
Yeah.
Because you know what these particular fans are like? Everything has to connect. You can't be allowed to have imagination anymore. Oh, the production team of 69 didn't do that, but hey ho, we will ride to the rescue and we'll do it and we'll tick the fan box. Bugger off. That's the only reason I reckon they've done it. What do you think? That's all I think it is, because they are so full of fan wankery. That's what they have to
tamper, don't they? They have to tamper. They've always done it. They've done it through the animations, putting Sacha Dhawan's master on a poster. Faceless One. It's like that. They have to do it. They can't help it. They're just like, they're an untreated cancer. If you don't cut them out, they appear everywhere and just end up destroying everything. It's horrible.
I hate all that need, that sort of OCD requirement they have to tie everything in. Why? Stop it. And especially now when they know that millions and millions of fans have rejected the Whittaker era, are rejecting the Gatwa era. It's as though they're saying, no, this is canon. Whether you like it or not, that is the 13th, that is the 14th, that is the 15th, whether you like it or not. Well, if we don't like it, no, it isn't, because we just stop it at Capaldi or wherever we want to. Get a grip, get a job, get a life. War Games cut to 90 minutes to cut costs, says Sheila B in the devotions. And Farsight is with us saying, I think butchering the War Games is highly disrespectful to those involved with the production. Adding an inferior New Who regeneration sequence is wrong. The second Doctor spiraling away is perfect. Isn't it just?
The thing about it is, if they were going to do a regeneration, why can't they do it like the Hartnell Troughton one or the Pertwee Baker one and keep it in context of the show if you're going to do it at all? You know,
because it has to be done the modern way now, doesn't it? So that the mythical audience recognize it. If there's going to come a point where watch Robot, the Planet of Spiders into Robot, Logopolis into Castrovalva, you know. And then the case of Ventressani into the Twin Dilemma, even the beginning of the Time of the Rani, will all be changed to suit this blazing, boring nonsense that you get now of all this orange crap. I guarantee you they'll do that all eventually. Watch this space. I'll be kicking off when they do as well. But I guarantee it, they will be doing it.
Probably more likely do it if the series is still on the air. If it isn't, then possibly not.
Well, hopefully this is the last time they tamper with old Who. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Well, exactly, and we're going to be coming to that, isn't it? Because of course, if this closes down, the production office closes down, they all have to go and get new jobs. They'll never be able to touch Doctor Who again. Touch wood.
Can you imagine them having to get a job?
They'll have to get somewhere else.
A real job, for goodness sake! How would they manage that?
Yeah. Killbot Kill. Why do I get the feeling that the Daleks and the War Games are going to end up on the collection Blu-rays as bonus content? Well, if they do, fine, as long as they don't put the prices up. However, which Blu-ray box sets are you looking at? Oh, controversial. Well, they're not complete. Let's face it. I don't think you're going to get everything. To be very honest, I don't know.
You'll get season 6 probably, like they did with season 2. But that'll be another 2 years before we get that, because they want to milk the War Games first, don't they? So
yeah, it's an interesting point, isn't it? It's an interesting point. We'll have to wait and see about that one, isn't it? But I don't know. Julianne's with us as well. Thanks to everybody for this. Duckula, hello, Duckula. A Matter of Life and Death is another movie where the real world is in color and heaven is in black and white. Yeah, that's
lovely,
true.
Lovely. Yeah.
And and you're right though, Who viewers. Apparently, these kids wouldn't be able to watch all this.
Yeah.
I mean, black and white gives it a different atmosphere, doesn't it? And that's what's appealing about black and white Doctor Who as well, you know?
Oh, it's brilliant, isn't it? Those things that lurking in the dark. I love all that sort of stuff. It's true. You know, it's true. Those old Basil Rathbone Sherlock Holmes films, stuff like that. Oh, wonderful.
Or even the bits of the Wizard of Oz when you see it in black and white and Margaret Hamilton on the bicycle with the dog and everything. Superb.
Oh, yeah.
It's really creepy, you know?
Yeah. I like this point from Stephen Braddock. Stephen, I thought about this over the weekend as well. It's all because of the regeneration and it leads into season 7. So if they're bringing out the War Games on December the 23rd, and they are, fingers crossed, hopefully, allegedly, possibly going to be announcing season 7 as the next Blu-ray box set coming up. Yes, it sort of ties in for people, but will it affect the sales on that? No, because the mythical audience don't go and buy necessarily the box sets, do they? Some of them will, but not all. It'll be all of us coming back to us. It's us that are sustaining those box sets twice over, by the way. It really is. Hello to Shempmeister that's joined us as well and said hello to us in the chat there. So yeah, thank you very much for everybody. This is brilliant to see you all. What we got here from Craig Dunlop. Well, another reason they may have chosen the War Games is because of RTD's love to lecture us on social politics. Don't forget, one of the war zones is the American Civil War, and that's red rag to RTD, all allegedly. Yeah, possibly. It could possibly be, but I think personally, Craig, it's just so they can put the regeneration in and look at us, aren't we clever?
Yeah.
I mean, there's lots of peripheral characters that halfway through the story they play key parts and then they fade out really.
Yeah.
And there's the Mexicans, isn't there, led by Ricardo Villa.
Yeah.
And the Doctor has a right old face off with him because he wants to. I think it's probably
the back to front. What a difference!
Yeah, I think it's Ricardo Villa that stops the Doctor getting away in time and allows the Time Lords to catch him because he thinks he's going to be double crossed. And you know, I mean, will they cut that entire bit out because it doesn't? I don't know.
There's a lovely bit. There's a shot in that actually makes me laugh. That there's a Mexican at the back with a sombrero. He looks like he just come off his holidays. You know what I mean? It's quite interesting.
Yeah. Problem being, saying what I was saying here, War Games is for them to make the regeneration and to plug the upcoming collector's set Blu-ray for season 7. It would make sense if they put as a bonus, wouldn't it, PB, the fact that, oh, we did this episode of the War Games with this regeneration, and aren't we clever, and aren't we brilliant, and blah blah blah. Oh, they'd make me ill, these people. No, you're not clever. You're just fans, alleged fans, with a ridiculous head on your shoulders. I mean, come on.
Yeah, just because you can do it doesn't mean you should do it. That's
exactly that. Yeah, just leave it be. Leave it be. But anyway, that was that one there. So congratulations to Rich Tipple for his involvement with this. It's just the same. It's a shame that you're actually surrounded by a production team that are insane, in my opinion, and missing an entire fortune for BBC Studios. A fortune in sales. Yeah. Because you didn't learn from the Daleks. Anyway, we will be seeing what it's like, won't we? 23rd of December, we will be around and about with a review of it. Everybody, so come join us for that. Make sure you've subscribed to the channel. Make sure you're still subscribed to the channel, because we are still getting people emailing in saying, guys, we've been unsubscribed. Nothing to do with us, of course, but keep making sure that you are subscribed. Have a look every other day, see if you are, and keep tabs with what we're doing. We've got lots coming up for you in this very, very special month. Of course, it's Christmas month. And speaking of which, he says, tying in quite nicely with the next item. Yes, the BBC Studios, stroke Disney Plus, stroke Bad Wolf, have dropped. I can feel the anticipation, the excitement. They've dropped the new trailer. Woohoo! Here we are. Yes, the trailer for Joy to the World is with us. And can I start by saying straight away, guys, I think that the BBC are playing the wrong trailer, because in Britain, we do not have a holiday season at Christmas. We have Christmas, and then we have New Year. We do not refer to it BBC, the British Broadcasting Corporation. We do not refer to this time of year as a holiday season. I think they've been playing the Disney thing, because the Americans have a holiday season. We don't.
I've seen two different ones. I've seen the British one and the American one. But what the thing that got me is they can't spell properly on the Disney one.
Don't start me on the Disney one. There have been so many problems with the Disney one because, of course, the Disney one originally said it was Joy to the World.
Yeah.
Joy to the World. And then they have recently, of course, put this out, and they're now even calling it Special 5. I don't understand why they're calling it Special 5. Joy to the World. See, they've taken the S off there because somebody, obviously, Paul, got told off and said, "Oh no, you're getting that wrong."
Yeah.
I bet you that was Wales. Very
Probably,
very unimaginative poster there as well. I think Shooty's waxwork looks better than what he does there, to be honest. I don't know what that is. Action and adventure science fiction coming to Disney Plus December the 26th, 2024. Joy to the World Special 5. They're completely ignoring the series then, are they?
It's probably for the best, isn't it? Yeah.
They're just looking at Tenant 3 and his first Christmas one, aren't they?
Yeah, totally. Well, whether we like it or not, gents, whether we like it or not, Who viewers, it's all on the way. Yes, the countdown has become to this next piece of episode. Alleged Disney Who, Doctor Who, whatever you want to call it. Have you seen this? Have you seen it? Well, this is the official trailer for it. We've got some stills screen grabbed from BBC Studios, Disney Plus, Bad Wolf. I don't know what your opinions of this, guys, were, but I've watched it twice and I've not retained anything.
The two things that stuck in my head was one, he's crying again, what a surprise.
And
oh Christ, there's two of them. So that was my take on that.
Yeah, I think that was. We got to bear in mind this was written by Stephen Moffat, everybody. So it is going to be all this nonsense time stuff, isn't it?
I didn't know whether he'd regenerated himself. It was eminently forgettable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shetmeister saying to us, seems bizarre to call last series season 1 and this Special 5. That's my point. I mean, I totally Shetmeister. I mean, what are they doing? They're just alienating the American public, especially, which is one they're all aiming for, even more. Because why would somebody from in America go Special 5? Oh, I haven't seen the other 4. Click off.
I won't bother. Yeah. It's really confusing, isn't it? To be honest,
it's ridiculous.
They don't think these
things
things
deal with it.
They don't think them through.
No, they don't, do they?
No.
We don't. We've got we've got this from. I saw the trailer. It's not Doctor Who, says Marjorie. We've got Robert Payne saying to us, British holiday season is the summer. Exactly.
Yeah.
We don't do the holiday season over Christmas. Because I think that's down to the fact that in America they don't like to say Christmas because of all their PC stuff going on. But we do. In Britain, even Sadiq Khan isn't going to get his way and start renaming everything from Christmas. It's Christmas time, end of story. And certainly on this channel, it always will, because we are British. Rick Storm is also telling us, look, Christmas. Yeah, I go. And Graham, oh God, here we go. Holiday season, angry emojis. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, have you all seen this trailer? Let's have a look at some of the pictures and get some of the... I thought the Worlds was because there was some multiverse stuff going to happen. It seemed deliberate to me. No, it's just it was a simple mistake. It was a simple mistake.
It's what they call the traders a cock up, I think it's called. Yeah.
Okay, let's have a look at this then. Oh, Alex Kane is saying to us, it's an awful trailer, very Disney-ish trailer. Yes, holiday season is awful. This Christmas is what we say in the trailers in UK. Special 5, awful name. More a crying man. 1 out of 10.
That's very fair.
Got it already.
That's for the trailer. That's for the trailer. Okay. All right. So let's keep that going there. Okay. So what else we got here? Yeah, let's look at the trailer then. We've got these pictures from the trailer here. So this is this is the hotel, I think, that they're all talking about here, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know if you noticed, there's people there dressed in different period costumes. I did notice.
Oh, I did notice. Oh, I did notice.
Yeah,
I noticed this. Yes, I did. I can't see anything out of this, though, that is remotely interesting.
No. The Christmas tree is quite nice, I have to say.
Yes,
quite
like
that.
Is nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is nice. That is very, very nice.
There's probably a Prague.
What?
probably a Krag from Sharda. Just thought I'd throw that in there.
It
you know.
might be they'll come to
It's
life.
that shape, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah,
God
yeah,
knows
yeah.
they're dragging everything else back that's obscure, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They did mention an old enemy. That could be them. That could be
It
them.
could be.
Yeah.
After
Yeah.
the
No,
Krag.
no. Let's cut that out now as well. Firstly, Rick Storm, it looks like a Star Wars set. It does.
It
It
does,
does.
yeah.
It does. But is that? And it could well be. It could be a leftover from something because Disney owns Star Wars now, doesn't it? Claw thing.
Yeah.
But let's talk about that whole thing. Oh, there's an old enemy coming back, and everybody's. They've already told you what the old enemy is. It's from the Ninth Doctor's era. It's this supplier of the arms he's already faced before.
Yeah.
That's what they mean. It's an old enemy in New Who doesn't necessarily mean it has to be seen in the television series beforehand. It could be anything. It just means that the character has come across them before.
It's a Zarbi, I'm telling you now. That's who it is.
Exactly. Christmas is almost here. I love Christmas, says Marjorie, and the tree isn't very colourful. And there it is here.
There you are.
Matt is insistent the villain guard is not an enemy. So what is it? I mean, it's an old enemy of the Doctor's. He says that in the clip we've seen. That's who it is. You know, they're old enemies of mine or something. He says, doesn't he? I wasn't paying much attention.
And it's going. I think it's going back to Boom as well, because you know the
Camp Boom, right? Correct.
Stuff as well. I think, yeah. So,
correct. Yeah. Paul Stenford, is this the Boots Christmas ad? It does look like that, doesn't it? And they both preach the same things, so it's going to go the same way.
Yeah,
and Robert Payne, the Christmas tree in this is better decorated than the one in Trafalgar Square. I've seen that. It's shocking, isn't it? It's for the second year running. Shocking. Have you seen it, guys?
I've not seen it, no.
Oh,
I do remember the episode of Blue Peter when the presenter put the star up and it fell off. Remember that? That was quite funny. Remember that? Yeah.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yes.
It's absolutely terrible. Now, we had notification, though. Ian's just told me there's been a notification there from Paul Thomas Ashworth with a super sticker. Thank you very much. It hasn't come up on the platform here that we're using. We're using StreamYard. I haven't seen it. It's not here. It's not come up. But thank you, Paul, for your super sticker. I really appreciate that, but I haven't been notified of it. It's not there. I've been trying to find it while I've been talking to you. So sorry about that. I will report that back to this platform, StreamYard, to ask what is going on, but I'm not seeing it. It could be because the comments are moving so quickly, I haven't got to you yet. I don't know, but if I do, I'll bring it up. But thank you, Paul. I'm so sorry. It's just not appearing in my chats here on this platform. I will be getting in touch with them after the show.
I think funny things have been happening tonight, JT. Kirsty mentioned me back, just pinged me earlier as well. A few people watching have been getting quite a lot of ads interrupting the show as well.
Oh, that's a new one.
I've seen 4 or 5 pop up on mine because I have it on here. So just make you aware of that as well. It might be a combination of things.
Oh, well, thank you for that. Oh, dear, we'll have to look at that. Carl Goddard is saying to us, the crying clip is taken from an old episode, as is the hugging of Ruby. The Doctor's shirt is different in that one clip. Well observed, Carl.
Yeah, well, I'll have to look at that again and double check that. But I bet he cries in that episode, though. I bet he does.
Yeah. Nice set, says John Mason, and parts of it look like they're out of a video game like Donkey Kong. Yeah. There's lots of pictures that have been released from this, everybody. Keep your chats coming. I'll see what I can do to keep up with you all. But I don't know what's going on then. I don't know what's happening. You guys might have to actually just keep holding the fort while I look at that. If I take myself off screen and look at that, because I don't know what's happening with that. Let's have a look at this here as well. We've got this picture as well. We've got here, this is Joel Fry, who's in the Christmas special, obviously here. Joel Fry is in this. Goodness me. I wasn't expecting this. He's an all right actor.
He reminded me of David Williams a little bit in the clip, you know.
Did he? In what sense?
Yeah. Well, just the way he delivers his lines, the way he performs a little bit, you know.
Just not as creepy. He
no.
He was in a 2 or 3 series thing about a handyman. It was a comedy. Georgia Moffat was in it as well, I think.
What? Really? Oh, is that the one about the Romans?
No, it was a. I'm trying to remember the name of the program. The guy was a. I'm sure he was a handyman or a painter and decorator or something like that. And it was a comedy program back that, and Georgia Moffat was his on-off girlfriend, who was basically stitching him up and not a nice piece of work. So life imitating art.
Typecasting, obviously.
Yeah, but he was in Game of Thrones as well. I think he's quite a decent actor.
I know him from a film called Bank of Dave.
Okay.
Which was on Netflix.
Oh, Yeah.
And he was in that, and he was very good. Which was about the guy in your neck of the woods, Ian, in Yorkshire, that set up the bank, the
I know the guy you
independent
mean.
bank.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, I enjoyed that, and he was very good. And it was in that film that I actually thought, oh, there's a potential Doctor there. So I got that wrong, didn't I? But anyway, that's him there. The obligatory "let's publicize a brand new toy" scene comes in.
Yeah.
Has he got horrible nails?
What
And
has he
it's all
got
got-
painted on them?
Never
It's-
trust a man with dirty fingernails.
Yes.
What he's got painted on it, Paul, have you never noticed? He's had this all through his 9 episodes. They are Gallifreyan tattoos.
Oh, right.
This version of the Doctor has his name or something on his nails, which was
right,
there
right.
during the bigeneration. It's been there since he was born, as it were.
God.
So it's
Because I thought
Gallifreyan
that on
tech.
the rings has something to do with Shooty's own Rwandan ancestry as well, or something. I thought something a mixture of the two, but I wasn't sure. But yeah.
The explanation will be out there somewhere, but these are
Oh,
it's
will be, it
Gallifreyan
will be,
writing
yeah,
on his
yeah,
nails.
yeah. Okay.
In our
Unnecessary.
you can see
It's
them
unnecessary.
you can see them clearly in a picture that we use when we're publicizing the new series and what we're doing at the start of our shows, where he's holding out the Who's Views logo as I've done it like this.
Yeah.
And you can see the tattoos on his nails. So there we
I
go.
need to look at that again. That's very
Yeah.
remiss of me not to notice that. I have to say I'll
I
look
know.
at it again. Yeah.
You mentioned this already, but we've got these two.
Yeah. Like you need two of them.
I'm dreading this. There seems to be a lot of shouting as well, isn't it? Oh, this is why you're always alone, blah, 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 blah. So he seems to be crying at himself.
Yeah.
Which is just nonsense, isn't it? We've got all that. But yeah, there we go. So there's some stills from this. But can anyone remember what it's about? Can anyone remember? Can you retain, Who viewers? I can't.
I only know what it's about because I read it somewhere that Stephen Moffat described the synopsis of the story, but I don't remember much from the trailer, really, to be honest.
It's supposed to grab you, a trailer, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
supposed to entice you so much you say, hang on a sec, I want to watch this. This looks really good. This is exciting. And do you remember that when they used to do this? You know, when the trailers were, oh, this is great, I want to watch this.
Yeah. The thing about the double Doctor thing, I think it's a lovely novel idea, but they've done it 6 times before, you know what I mean? So it's like really disappointing, you know?
Right.
And you know the way Moffat works, don't you? And irritatingly, but you know the way he works. It's always that bloody phrase "timey-wimey" was amusing once.
Yeah.
Over a decade ago, but he's still churning it out, and you know it's going to be from either the future or the past. You just think, oh, for God's sake!
It's that and don't check my browser history as well. That's a running gag.
I can't be done with all of it.
God Almighty! Yeah.
I mean, again, it's got no place in Doctor Who for me. It really doesn't.
Yeah.
You know, this is an alien science fiction show. It's Moffat's humor, and it grates with me. It's not my humor. I don't like it. Grow up.
It's lavatorial, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
It's even worse than that. It's right down the pan and going down the system. You know, it's just get a grip. Yeah. Ouch, says Mudcrab. The close up of the console only exposes how it was made. That wasn't clever. You can see how it's made. I think you're supposed to, though, aren't you? I mean, I was looking at this, Mudcrab, when I was putting these stills together for this show, and I was looking at these bolts and stuff, and I was thinking, well, why have they included all these bolts and stuff when it sort of regenerated?
Yeah.
It wouldn't have that. It would be smooth, wouldn't it? It would be smooth. It wouldn't have bolts and stuff like that on it. They haven't thought about that part, have they? They haven't thought about the fact that it was supposed to be put together by the Doctor on this occasion. He hasn't put this together. It did it itself. So why are there bolts? Is it to allow the Doctor to get in there? I don't get it. But I know what you mean.
Yeah.
It's a design flaw. A design flaw. I think they're just trying to be clever. Mudcrab is agreeing with you as well. Three things overused in New Who: timey-wimey, the sonic is magic, and perception filters.
Yeah.
I don't know. What else we got? Thank you very much.
Well, probably.
Sorry, Ian?
And his psychic paper as well, probably.
Yeah.
Get out a jail card, isn't it?
Lazy writing, that's what that is. Yeah.
Well, it is, isn't it? That's all it was. That's all it was. We've got here as well This one from Stephen Braddock. Some of the CGI looks really poor on the outside of the train. And Julianne says, all I remember is some bad CGI on a train. I don't even remember the train. Don't get it. Marine Boy 1966. I know I just didn't retain the information at all. Hello, nice to see you, Marine Boy 66. Joel Fry series with Moffat was White Van Man on BBC Three.
That's it.
Will Mellor was in it too. Totally missed that one, everybody.
It's worth it. It's quite good, actually. It's quite good.
Is it?
Well, if it's on BBC Three, it'll be on a loop, I'd imagine, if it's on there.
Probably.
Yeah.
Missed it. Look at this. Yeah, there shouldn't be IKEA screw heads on a high technology surface. And the Forbidden Man saying, I'm glad you guys are brave enough to look at this rubbish. Yes, we are. We are. Rick Storm is saying the bolts are there to remind everyone that RTD is nuts. And being a bit more sensible than all of us, we've got Problem Being saying all the TARDIS consoles of the 60s and 70s had screws on them. Yeah, I know what you mean. But I always...
on the TVs, would you? The day you wouldn't see it. It was never in such close detail that you'd see it, I don't think, to be honest. Especially played on the tellies that we had.
Apart from labeling it the fast return switch as well, remember that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, my point is that when the TARDIS is regenerating itself, as they are now intent on making it do, I would have had sleek surfaces because it's just gone ta-da.
Yeah,
because I just think, I would have loved to have seen that missing season 27 console room that Mike put together, the one that we now with with the floating TARDIS.
Yeah, that was lovely. Yeah.
That looks sleek. It didn't look like it had bolts anywhere. If anything, I think it'd be the Doctor that tries to go around putting bolts in things to make things. Yeah. I don't know.
He's broken it. That's what's happened.
Yeah. If he's done stuff to fix it, like you said, JT, like the Eccleston one, where he'd had to do bits and pieces and cobble it together, then you expect that, but not on something that's supposed to be so futuristic and expensive as this prop supposedly was.
Yeah, I also like I actually bought into that whole thing about the reason that there's chess pieces as switches and stuff like that is because he's had to find something to repair parts of the TARDIS that was there because it's so old and it's been through so much. I can get on board with that. But you've had several versions of the set now, so I would expect it not to be all that. I wouldn't have, he's been around with this one since it was born, as it were. So why is he messing around? Oh, I'm going.
Well, the first Matt Smith one was really busy. That was like, what?
I hated
there with taps and stuff on it, things like that.
Just really ridiculous. Weird. Yeah, building on a theme. Yeah. Joel Fry was also in Plebs, says Stephen Pratt. That's the one I meant about the Romans. I saw parts of that years ago, and it was quite funny. I thought.
Yeah.
And Problem Being back with us saying, I don't like this desktop theme nonsense. When the Fifth Doctor unveiled the Five Doctors console, it was clear he had made it. Exactly. Yeah. He'd updated it. I loved all that. Still a classic scene, that, isn't it, really? Just remember they were using a bicycle pump on the console in one episode of New Who.
Yeah.
David Harding's joined us as well, saying hello, David. Hope you are well. And Hugh Janus is with us, saying all of the TARDISes of the 60s and 70s had decent actors in them.
That's very true.
Yeah.
And I love that picture there. Of that gentleman there. Mm-hmm. Very nice.
Mr. Thomas, lovely. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
You're a star, complete star. Yeah.
If I don't see a film with him in over this Christmas, it isn't Christmas. Because again, one of Magnificent Machine, Flymen, I used to love all that.
You have to watch, if you've not seen it already, Vault of Horror with Tom Baker in it, and Terry Thomas is in one of the vignettes of the film, and it's hilarious, really funny.
Yeah.
Recommend.
Always brilliant. But they're the pictures there that are going on. Of course, as I say here, for Joy to the World, the alleged Christmas special for New Who, Disney Who, whatever you want to call it, it is on the way, being broadcast in the United Kingdom, of course, on the 25th of December. And this week, the Radio Times has been gearing up with some more of the information. This was one of it. This is the schedule. For those of you outside the UK who may not have seen this, for those of you in the UK that don't really care, this is your schedule. Gone now are the days where the BBC had big blockbusters on Christmas Day. BBC One Christmas schedule, as you can see, it starts for the kids from 9 a.m. in the morning. It will be a little bit before that, I would imagine, but it gets through.
I hope they're filming at 5 a.m. They're up really early for that, I'd imagine.
As is traditional here in the UK, we have His Majesty the King's Christmas broadcast at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And then it's followed by an absolutely weakest link of shows, because it starts off with the weakest link Christmas. Then it goes on for Strictly Come Dancing Christmas. Then it goes on to Doctor Who at 5:10. And then, hurrah, something decent arrives on the BBC at 6:10. Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul. A little bit of which we talked about earlier in the show. At 7:30, we've got EastEnders. And 8 p.m, Called the Midwife. And 9 p.m, Gavin and Stacey, the finale. Now, that's the big draw, isn't it, for the BBC? That's going to be a massive hit for people that are probably drunk. Gavin and Stacey.
Can I say Gavin and Stacey, the finale? Is that definitely the last one, is it?
Until the next one.
I hope so.
Till the next one, yeah.
I used to watch that and I used to find it funny, but actually, because I knew they were bringing this back for this finale, I went back and watched some of them. It was on one of the channels or something, and I couldn't watch them. I thought, oh no, I'm done with this. Once was enough for me. I can't. Yeah. So I won't be watching that. I'm not interested. But I know people, that will watch things like Called the Midwife and stuff. But look at that lineup. Look at that. Don't forget.
Could be in a year, couldn't it?
What?
If you take out things like Joy to the World that make it specific, it could be any of the last 10 years Christmas schedules, couldn't it? It's so.
Apart from the King's speech there, Ian, that was different.
Well, it would still be the monarch speech.
yeah. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
But you have to also remember that what it doesn't say here, because of the huge backlash it's had, that after 9 p.m.'s Gavin and Stacey, the finale, is Mrs. Brown's Boys, which, of course, before he left the BBC, Piers Wenger, in his wisdom, signed off Christmas specials and New Year specials for that for the next, I think it was allegedly something like 5 to 10 years. So we're stuck with them, which is ridiculous. Now, I thought it would be very fun. Thank you for the Radio Times for putting that out. But I thought it would be fun to see what we used to call the commercial channels are putting up against the BBC and Doctor Who. So here we go. ITV's Christmas Day schedule is awful. It's just as bad. As you can see, again, His Majesty the King is on at 3 p.m. Then they've got Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. And then the return of an old quiz favourite from the United Kingdom, which is Bullseye, kicking off a brand new series against Doctor Who at 5:25 with the Bullseye Christmas episode. So good luck to them. It's a real, in my opinion, it's a real big risk bringing back Bullseye.
Yeah.
Look what
it's going to kill the BBC if Bullseye beats Doctor Who, isn't it? That's going to be.
I'm actually hoping it will, because for those of you who don't know, when we were kids in the 80s, when we were teenagers or whatever we were, Bullseye was a big Sunday night quiz show. It was done by was it Yorkshire or something like that?
I think it might have been.
Was it Central?
Yeah.
Was it not Central?
I can't. It might have been Central. I can't remember. It was a big quiz show where you threw darts at the board, and you could have you won prizes or you won money for charity. At one point, they had celebrities on from the day. It was famous for absolutely terrible prizes, like giving a speedboat to somebody that lived in a high-rise flat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I did see the trailer.
They're on the Challenge channel. It has all the game shows on it. If you catch it, it's wonderful. Yeah. It's a history of 80s fashion as well. It's really nice. Really
Well, it was also hosted by one of the game show hosts of the moment. He's no longer with us, Jim Bowen, who was a legend in his own lifetime, quite frankly, and he was always quite funny. And he pulled off the show for God knows how many years. He's now obviously moved on. There's a new guy that's in there. Good luck to him. I can't remember his name. But I did see the trailer. And they're nodding to their own past, because in the trailer, he's actually polishing a big black speedboat. Look what you could have won, see you on Christmas. I loved it. I thought that. So good luck to the ITV for bringing back Bullseye. In my opinion, is at risk. But good luck. The new series starts in January. And wouldn't it be funny if the Christmas one beats Doctor Who?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully, Bedwee will have the facts on that one. That'll be good. So,
oh yes, don't worry. We'll be doing ratings analysis after that with Bedwee. I will ask him nicely. So there you go. You got the Bullseye Christmas opposite Doctor Who. Then the ITV Evening News on Christmas Day. Then you've got the soaps for them. You've got Emmerdale, Coronation Street, and then you've got the Chase Celebrity Christmas Special at 8 o'clock on Channel 4. They don't do. I don't know what it is about Channel 4. Pathetic. They don't do His Majesty's speech. They'll do an alternative one, which is usually some comedian or woke nonsense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've never watched it, don't care. But this is their schedule. And as you can see, the only thing I'd be interested there in is the Italian Job at 2:45 with Michael Caine.
Hopefully it's the Michael Caine version, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not the Mark Wahlberg version. Yeah. Good. Yeah.
Opposite Doctor Who, however, they've got The Miracle on 34th Street. Now, bearing in mind, there's 2 versions of that as well. I would hope that would be the original.
The original, superb. Yeah.
The remake wasn't all that, really, was it?
Yeah, with Richard Attenborough in it, wasn't it? Yeah, I think.
The original one. But anyway, you've got that there, everybody. You've got the piano at Christmas, which I know my mum's interested in. This is this thing where they take people into train stations or bus stations or something, and then they play the piano and they make them into give them a record deal or something, I think. Anyway, she wants to see that. So we've got that. And then look, Raiders of the Lost Ark at 8:20. I bet we're all excited about that because none of us have seen that before. Yeah. And then at 25 to 11 in the evening on Christmas night, you have Notting Hill. I would have put Love Actually on, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I mean, they would never get away with putting an early 1980s film like Raiders of the Lost Ark on prime time any other night. So why would they do it on Christmas Day?
It's really lackluster, isn't it? It really is like they've not bothered their arse, have they, at all?
Might as well put Jaws on. And where's a James Bond film? If they're not changing anything, where's a Bond film?
Surely that has to be on Boxing Day.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
So, and I hope it's one of the new ones on Boxing Day. I know we've had a lot of them, but it's in the law in Britain. You have to have a Bond at Christmas. You have to. I'm sorry. You know, it's the law. So let's have one of the Daniel Craig ones. Maybe they'll premiere. I haven't seen any of the listings yet, but maybe they'll premiere the last one that they haven't got to show because they've got Spectre and everything else, haven't they? Yeah. So maybe it's because ITV are good at that, aren't they? And they've got all the Bond films there.
Yeah.
I quite like them when you just trolling the channels though on a Sunday afternoon, and then one comes out of you. Like when was it yesterday? I'm decorating the tree, and one of the Roger Moores comes on. Oh yes, please! I haven't seen this for ages. I'll watch this, and it was A View to a Kill.
All right,
yeah,
and I loved it because I wasn't planning it. Who viewers? It just came on, messing around with baubles and tinsel. Oh, I'll watch this. Yes, well,
I had the single with the Duran Duran music on it. It was great. It was lovely. Yeah.
Oh, classic stuff.
Great thing. Yeah,
classic stuff.
Has it got Christopher Walken in it?
Yes, it has.
Yeah.
And Grace Jones.
Grace
Jones. Allow me to this day.
Yeah, scary woman. Yeah.
Anyway, hello.
Little Harty never recovered, really, did he?
No, he's not. The bruises didn't go away, did they? No.
God bless him. We've got Rick Storm saying, "And Bully special prize a caravan." That's how it went, wasn't it? Oh, fabulous! Yeah. Steve Braddock saying to us, that ITV Christmas Day is the worst schedule I've ever seen apart from Bullseye. Let's see what you could have won. Oh, that's what it's famous for. People outside the UK won't understand about this, but it was actually, let's see what you could have won. Oh, bless them. It's very funny, though, the whole lot, isn't it? It really is. Hello to Matthew Pound. Hello to Philip Roy, who's joining us as well. He's telling us that he's actually tweaking his second trailer for Christmas release about his film.
Oh, lovely. I'll watch that.
The best thing worth watching then, wasn't it?
Well,
and apparently it's coming out next summer, he said, so I'm looking forward to that even better when it's released.
We're keeping a tab on that because we are going to be looking at that. And I need to speak to Philip at some point about that in the new year as well. Stephen Fry is doing this year's alternative Christmas special message on Channel 4 says garbage. Well, there's one good reason not to be watching that.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to think what they're talking about. Let's have a look what else we got here. How did the Italian Job never get a sequel? What was Kane's idea? Listen, I'm glad it didn't. That ending is just classic.
Yeah.
Do not explain anything after that. Do they or don't they? You can't tell because people are still discovering the Italian Job all these years. You can't talk about it, so nobody spoil it. It's a brilliant, beautiful ending. It ends on a cliffhanger. Leave it there. That's the end of it. You know. That's what it's all about.
You thought Dragonfire was bad, but there you are. Yeah.
I love it. I absolutely love it. What we've got here, Super John is touching grass there, as you can see, everybody, which is what most of us will be doing from here on in again as we get into 2025. May the double doctor replace the doctor in 72 yards in which the other one is not him. I'm going to have to read that again. Maybe the double doctor replace the doctor in 72 yards in which the other one is not him. Oh, I hope not. I can't be bothered with referring back to something. Kirsty is in the chat saying Raiders of the Lost Ark, Chef's Kiss. She loves chefs, doesn't she? She goes around kissing them.
Yeah.
What a tramp. And also we've got Matthew Pounder. Wouldn't be Christmas without the snowman. It wouldn't, would it? And yes, Channel 4 are showing the snowman and its sequel, The Snowman and the Snow Dog, I think on Christmas Eve. I'm not sure, but they are around again. It's Paul Stenterford is saying those Christmas TV schedules are absolutely terrible. Thank heavens for DVDs and Blu-rays.
Yep.
And also for your streaming services. Because we are coming to the fact that Russell T Davies has been speaking to the BBC Radio 4 show today, just on Friday there. And he actually mentions this in his chat with the, well, I say chat. It's not an interview exactly. It's just the usual shallow nonsense. But he says that everybody's now aware of, in the industry, it's not just the BBC, it's not just ITV anymore. There's the others, the streaming channels, and that a lot of people are migrating over to the streaming channels. I'm not surprised when you keep churning out utter nonsense on the mainstream channels. For heaven's sake, why can't they see common sense, people? Do you know what I mean? Why can't they? Why are they not usually? Why can't they see what we can see? Oh, well, there's nothing on the BBC and ITV we want to watch. Let's go and have a look and see what's on Netflix, or let's go and look and see what's on Amazon Prime, and let's make our own day up. And families are doing that now, aren't they? The same, right? We've got all these other things you can. Don't watch that now. We'll watch that at Christmas because there's nothing on. The industry, honestly, absolutely ridiculous. I don't get you at all. I'm on my soapbox at the moment, aren't I, everybody? Yes, thank you. Yeah, Robert, man after my own heart here. Bond film, a war film, the 1960s family film. That's my Christmas as well, mate. Guns of Navarone. Yes. Oh, I love it. Oh, please. Bring all the war films on at Christmas. Oh,
maybe a Carry On thrown in there as well.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, Channel 4 usually play, or Channel 5 show. No, it's 4, isn't it? Channel 4 show. Or, no, it's ITV. What am I talking about? ITV 3 or 4. I get confused. It's all I know. But they show the Carry On films over Christmas every day for about 10 minutes per film now, don't they? When they've cut it all.
The Great Escape will be on as well, surely. That's yeah. So, yeah.
One of my other favourites. Oh, bring them all on. I can watch them all
what,
day.
What a cast. Angus Lenny and Steve McQueen. You never have that billing ever, will you? Yeah. Fantastic billing. Yeah.
No. You're I love the fact in the chat that everybody's putting together their own. See, this is what people do. They put on their own Christmas scheduling now. And quite rightly too, because when they're giving us that nonsense, and they expect people to watch all that, everybody.
Yeah.
I don't know. Rose is with us. Hi, Rose Kirby. Hope you're well. Hey, I'm just thinking they put all these Christmas shows on so that we've got variety. We've got a choice of what to watch. Is it? Rose, you see, in Britain, I'm from a generation that every show on Christmas Day was a Christmas special. You had the Generation Game Christmas special with Brucey or Larry. You had the Morecambe and Wise Christmas special. You had the Little and Large Christmas special. You had the Mike Yarwood Christmas special. You had the Basil Brusk Christmas special. Every show was a Christmas special. Christmas. And then you get a film, which was, in those days, it was easier. Remember when the Fuss Guys, when Raiders of the Lost Ark was being shown for the first time ever on telly? And we were all there on Christmas.
Or Star Wars or something like that.
Star Wars, yeah.
With the video.
Debate about whether it would translate onto a smaller screen, wasn't there?
Yeah. And we didn't care, did we? Because we were already.
Doctor Who would always have that Christmas break, wouldn't it? It wouldn't really be.
Oh, you got a lovely omnibus like Genesis the Daleks at Christmas or just after Christmas, which was lovely.
Yeah, exactly. It was just totally different in those days. But there we are. That's where we are now. And now because we've got the streaming services all owned by the people that make the films, they show their own films, don't they? They don't necessarily sell them to other broadcasters now. I'll be watching The Bells of St. John this Christmas, says Atom Mirabilis. Well, I can't help that. Oh, as it's just a wonderful episode and much better than the current trash produced by RTD and Moffat. Is that the one where he's dressed up as a monk?
Yeah, and he's on an airplane, and there's all the great intelligence in that one. Yeah,
was that the one?
But Celia Emery's in it. She's good at it.
Riding up the side of the Shard on a motorbike.
Yeah.
I didn't like it.
Welcome back, Atom.
Yes, nice to see you, Atom. Don't agree. Celia Emery, though, wasted talent. Didn't she end up playing a baby or something?
Well, she's taken over by the great intelligence, but then becomes a child. So she grew up as a child. I think that's how it works. Yeah.
Exactly.
Timey-wimey again, I think. Yeah.
Whatever. Robert, listen, keep in touch with our content over the weekend, over the Christmas period, then, because Robert is saying to us, sorry to go on about this, but this is my first Christmas without my parents, so I'm avoiding emotional shows this year. Well, stay away from a lot of it then, absolutely. But listen. Stay with us here on Whose Views. Okay, we've got a lot of content coming for you over the Christmas period. So the only emotion you'll get from us is probably anger.
Yeah, yeah.
And possibly a laugh. The Macronon is saying to us, two shooties. Bringing shooty to shooty is like bringing death to death. I think it's like bringing ego to ego, personally.
Yeah. You can just hope that they cancel each other out in a explosion of logic.
Like the Brigadier Murder and Dead, like that.
Yes.
You want that to happen. That's it. Yeah,
Yeah, they'll cancel out with their differential or whatever it was.
yeah.
The Blinovich limitation effect.
That's the one.
Thank you. Yes, we've got all this. Apparently, the most watched thing on TV day on Christmas Day is a crackling fire. I'd rather watch that than Doctor Who. Yes, you can get those crackling fire things now on this platform, on the Tube of Who, where you can just. Well, I think that's
4
brilliant.
hours of crackling fire. Superb
I
stuff.
think it's absolutely brilliant. It's
Yeah.
so clever for those people that are doing it. It's absolutely wonderful. What else we got here from everybody? Lots and lots of chats again. Thank you so much. You are also putting an awful lot of stuff in. An awful lot of your own. I'm going to watch this instead. So we're actually pushing everybody away from Doctor Who. We're going to come back to it in a minute, though. So be warned. Hello and welcome to Who's Views, to Kieran Cooney. Nice to see you. I've been watching old shows of Headlines and Who's Views, and I can't get enough of all your points of view. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you, Kieran. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Please subscribe to the channel. It's nice to see you. And yeah, a lot more nonsense from us to come as we get into 2025. Yes, we're always going to be here, Kieran, with a British, sensible, mature point of
You
view.
ain't seen nothing yet. There we go.
Unfortunately, neither have we, because, oh God, I hate to think what's coming next, I tell you. Mark is telling us, my mum would always watch her favourite film, The Guns of Navarone, Happy Memories. Oh, you see, your mother and I would have got on really well. Watch that. Oh, I love The Guns of Navarone.
Even the bottom Christmas special, which is sublime, mentions the Guns of Navarone, or as he says, the Guns of Navarone.
Yeah.
Guns of Navarone. I love the beginning where you've got James Robinson Justice voice, that beautiful voice that he had in that prank, because he's in the film as well, isn't he? He's sending them off on their mission. But I love the way he narrates it at the very beginning and sets the scene. Oh, David Niven. Sorry, I'm getting romantic now. I want all those things back. You should see my DVD collection. It's full of those films. I tell you, The Italian Job, all the war. I love war films. I love them because they were always on at Christmas as a boy. And I just love them. Absolutely love them. Problem being, says, I'll probably be watching Inferno. It'll be 10 times more Christmassy and Doctor Who-ish than this joyless rubbish. I was actually thinking about that yesterday, thinking I really fancy watching Inferno for some reason. It's so Christmassy, isn't it?
Yeah. All the love.
Save yourself for the box set, JT.
What's that?
Save yourself for the box set.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
But that'll be 2 years down the line, though, Ian, to be honest.
Oh, yeah, for JT it will be, won't it? Yeah, sorry.
Not next year like us.
Yes, because I get the standards.
You're quite right, for us.
As he's mentioned that, thank you very much for everybody that's watched and commented on our season 9 show that we did, impromptu show we did live here on Who's Views on Thursday, where we talked about the season 9 standard edition Blu-ray that is on the way. Yeah, can't wait for it. Pre-orders in. But thank you for all your comments. Really appreciate that. Because believe it or not, there's an awful lot of us on this channel that don't get the limited editions. So to the rest of you, we are. So thank you for that. Lewis Morris, nice to see you. Breaking news: the BBC wants Peter Dinklage as the new Doctor Who. Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Well, they're short-staffed at the BBC, aren't they? Yes. So yeah.
Entertainment creator, as welcome back, entertainment creator. He's got a question for you. Hello, I'm proud to get the Faceless Ones DVD. What are your thoughts on it? Well, I can't say anything because I haven't bought it. Have I? No.
I've got it, but not watched it yet.
I've watched it. It's not a bad animation. Better in black and white than color, I have to say. But yeah.
I'll get it when it's about £2, entertainment creator, and get back to you because they're not getting any more of my money for stuff like that. I'm too worried that I might watch it and there's some reference to Whittaker in it for some bizarre reason or something like that, because they were shoehorning her into everything. I reckon they're going to go the same way with Gatwa. Steve Thompson is making me really excited about this, Where Eagles Dare, Guns of Navarone, The Great Escape, Magnificent Seven, but Casting the Sundance Kid, Morecambe and Wise, the Two Ronnies. Now that was Christmas, wasn't it, Steve?
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
Dave Harding is saying to us, does this make Joy to the World a multi-Doctor story? Well, according to us, a lot of fans, well, certain fans on social media, yes, they're all going, oh, look, it's a multi-Doctor story. That means something totally different to all of us, doesn't it? So for all of us, I'd say no, wouldn't you?
It's hardly the Five Doctors, is it? Let's be honest.
I don't think there's any actual doctors in it, is there? There's Gatwa's
That's very
character.
true. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Doctor Light, even with two of them, isn't it?
Yeah. I like this one as well from Mark.
Did you say light or
Well, I don't know if you misheard me. I don't know. Perhaps you
yeah,
did,
it's a bit of a crackle on the line there.
There could be. It's internet. You know, it's like.
Oh, you're showing your age there. There's a crackle on the line. Yeah. BT
I'll be
wouldn't like that
tapping
today,
my phone
would
in
he?
a minute. Yeah, like that. Yeah.
Can you imagine if you said to BC, "There's a crackle on my line"? Do you mind? We've spent billions on this. Mark Reeves is saying to me, "JT, you are so spot on. You and my mum would have got cancelled, but had a bloody good time doing it. I'm sure we would have done, yeah." As we watched David Niven sorting things out. Oh, I love those films. And Paul Seeley is saying to you, ITV has put on 4 James Bond films this weekend alone. That's it. Oh, is that why I saw A View to a Kill? It's not proper ITV though, is it? It's one of the spin-off channels like ITV 3 or 4 or plus 1 4 or plus 5 day or whatever. I don't know.
They were showing Star Wars movies as well. They showed Star Wars Empire Strikes Back and Rogue One. I saw a bit of Rogue One today. It's quite good. Yeah.
Rogue One. I quite like Rogue One.
I like Rogue One as well. Yeah. Quite good.
That's like a war film. That's probably why I like it, because it's like a traditional war film just in Star Wars land, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I quite
that
like
bit
that.
at the end with Vader is superb.
Oh, that's lovely. Yeah. That ties it all in. Yeah, nice. Yeah.
I remember being at the pictures, not knowing that he was in it,
Right.
and I wet myself. I was like, oh! Because I love Darth
The
Vader.
entire fight sequence is brutal, isn't it? It's just.
Well, that's what you want from Darth Vader. You don't want any
Yeah.
nonsense, do you? You want him slicing people to death, because that's how he is. You know, but there you go. Anyway, we're digressing again. Philip is saying to us, my favourite Christmas Day show was when they put on Some Others Do Have 'Em. Frank is the angel on a wire with his beret, with another bag on.
Getting
Well,
rescued by the
the whole
helicopter.
series on one of the, I think that's entertainment channels.
Oh, really?
Have a look there. There are lots of them on. Great stuff. Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, gosh. I don't know if I could say. I remember that night watching that as a wee boy with the family around me. I'm a family laughing and me laughing at the family because I wasn't quite sure what was happening apart from this mad man on a wire. I remember it because of that. What a joy. You know, absolute joy. And in that warmth of the family who unfortunately now are no longer with us, the majority of my family. But yeah. Time of Victoria.
Cancel him yet, have they?
Who?
Michael Crawford.
I think they've edited some.
Right.
Or they don't
They
show
may have
some.
done. I don't know the episodes well enough to comment on that, but they may have done. Yeah.
Yeah. I think they have. I've read somewhere that a lot of stuff. I mean, we're going to be reviewing the Box of Delights this Wednesday live here on the channel, everybody, 8:00 UK time, celebrating 40 years of this classic BBC children's drama, which is beautiful. Somebody was telling me that she's sure, she's a Box of Delights fan, much bigger than I am. She's sure that the BBC have trimmed certain elements of it for the showing on BBC 4.
Oh, right. Well, it's back on the iPlayer again because I watched parts 1, 2, and 3, so it's back on the iPlayer if you need to watch it.
Yeah, and I put it out on our Facebook channel, Facebook page today. Actually, all about that. It's there on the iPlayer now. So if you want to come and join us on Wednesday to review and celebrate 40 years of the Boxes, like starring the legend that is Patrick Troughton, and you're in the UK, you can either go and buy the Blu-ray edition tomorrow, the 40th edition of that, 40th anniversary edition, or you can watch it on the iPlayer if you've got a BBC TV license, of course.
What I've seen so far, Troughton's amazing. He looks amazing in it as well.
Looking forward. I can't wait to share the Box of Delights and my love for Box of Delights with you all who viewers on Wednesday night live at 8. Time of Victorious is saying, I will be watching A Christmas Carol. My favourite of the Christmas specials on Christmas Day. The great Michael Gambon gives an excellent performance. Oh, bless him. And he's gone now.
I do like that one myself. That's got a good one, yeah.
He is brilliant in that, though. Ian, you like that one as well, don't you?
Yeah. It's a good Christmas special, actually.
And the Catherine Jenkins song really works really well in the story. That's lovely.
It does work really well.
Yeah.
She's definitely a welcome presence in the film.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
steady. Yeah.
I love Catherine Jenkins and I love her voice. I've got some of her albums just over there. I do. She's a superb singer. She's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
She's great in Doctor Who, in the Christmas Carol as well. But do you know what always got me about that? She sings a song, specially made, as we know, for this particular episode by Murray Gold at Stephen Moffat's request. It is beautifully Christmassy.
Oh yeah.
beautifully. I like to play it on Christmas Eve because it's got that beautiful silence. It's called Silence, isn't it? You know, silence is all around.
Yeah.
And they never used it again when the silence came in.
Yeah.
No.
That song could have been another warning for the Doctor. Silence is all around. They are Moffat. You missed your chance there, mate. I tell you, I would have had that, wouldn't you?
Oh
We
yeah.
had a song about this,
It
and
would have been a better fit, definitely.
Yeah, it could have been a warning to the Doctor. Silence is all around. You're going to be meeting this. They're here now. We can't see them because we forget. Oh, please. See, I can be really fanish when I want to be. I should be producing the bloody show, shouldn't I? Honest to God. We've got lots of people in the chat with us. Thank you very minute. Gosh, yes, we are. We are. Oh, Paul Rose is saying the best war film for me is Black Hawk Down. See, we're going off on tangents as we do now, everybody. I'll bring us back to the schedule in a minute. But yeah, Black Hawk Down.
I've not watched that.
Not seen it. No.
No. Actually, I should say to Kirsty, I know a lot of chefs these days. If you want to go and kiss them, I'll sort it out for you if you like. You're coming down. Smiley People is with us. Now, there was a show. Hey, great show as ever. I've had my chemo and I sit down to hear the great opinions and chat. Oh, I love Christmas TV in the 70s and 80s. I hope you're well, Smiley People. It's lovely, lovely to see you. Absolutely lovely. I hope you're feeling okay.
All the best.
Yeah. We all know. Keep us in touch. Let us know what's going on with you. whosviews1@gmail.com. All right. And I hope you're feeling okay because I know you can feel terrible after all that stuff. And I'm glad you're here with us, and I'm glad that you are okay. Hopefully. Oh gosh. Yeah. Look at all these chats we've got here. It's absolutely brilliant to see you all, everybody. I'm going to get us back on track now. Here we go waffling. But so there we are. That's the trailer that's out there as well. Did it hit with you? It certainly didn't with me. Lex has given it 1 out of 10. I'd give it nothing out of 10 at the moment because I've got to go back and watch it again at some point. Even though I was actually taking the screen grabs from the blooming thing. Don't even remember the train in it you're all talking about. However, it has managed to get the Radio Times cover, but it's this one. Yes, this is the one that is around for about 2 minutes. So there's Shooty Gatwa and Nicola Coughlan on the cover of this. So this is the one that covers 1 week. And this is out before the alleged legendary Christmas issue of the Radio Times, isn't it? So this is out this Tuesday. And then it disappears very quickly because at the same time, this will get replaced by, ta-da! Yes, the big one itself, the legendary Radio Times, which, as I've told you about on this show before, has Wallace and Gromit on the cover. It was pretty obvious, wasn't it, everybody? But this covers 2 weeks, doesn't it, guys? This is what's traditional now. 21st of December to the 3rd of January as they take a week off. So if you get the Doctor Who cover, well, if you're collecting them, and if you're still collecting them, you've got to get it quick because it comes and goes like a summer cloud.
The Christmas one's a bumper edition that's about 25 quid, isn't it? I think to buy it.
I think it actually is. Did it say on there? Can anybody read it out? How much it is? Very,
very. I think it's quite telling on the other one, the Gatwa one, that right across the picture it says Turkey.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. I thought, how appropriate. Yes, yeah.
Well, it'd be great if the character was Carol, not Joy, because it'd be there's Carol, there's the turkey, and
there's no TARDIS.
Yeah.
This is actually leading us on into what we've got to talk about next to get back on track, because this is the Radio Times cover for this 1 week issue, which is, it's so ridiculous to get this particular one if anyone's buying it, because everybody goes and buys the Christmas one instead. But it says there, Time Lord legends Russell T Davies and Stephen Moffat reveal the secrets of the perfect Christmas special. Now, you may have seen this, everybody, but we're going to cover it because this is it. In this particular issue are this is the interview with Stephen Moffat and Russell T Davies. Now, this was the photo shoot. There's Abigail there on the right, Ian, see? This is a photo shoot set up deliberately to talk to these two. So you've got this particular one here. Look at RTD's grin there.
It looks like a gay couple at Christmas. Is that what's meant to represent? I don't know.
Well, that's what they call themselves in this.
Oh, did they really? Okay, right. Yeah.
What are you saying, Ian?
It's like he's got permanent facial cramp. He knows no other facial expression, does he? It's just.
I think it's called lockjaw. I think medically, Ian.
It's just this. But there's that particular one. Yeah. Goodness knows where they shot this, but there you go. There's that particular one, and then there's this one I've used on our thumbnail for this show as well, where they're putting baubles on a tree allegedly. Of course, they're not, but there you go. Yeah. So this is, I mean, do you remember the days when the alleged producers, alleged showrunners, whatever you want to call them, didn't get involved with all this? Do you know? It was about the actors in the
Well,
film.
I
wasn't it?
blame G&T a little bit for this, to be honest.
Oh, totally. Totally. But they've built on it now, and that's the way
They
it's,
have, yeah.
when you think about it, John was ahead of his time by
Yeah.
by 40
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
Because he was the showrunner. He was controlling everything, wasn't he? So he was ahead of himself by 40 years. And I don't think even the Americans had where John was at that particular point.
No.
Oh, he'd love it now.
Oh, he would, yeah.
He'd love it
He'd
now.
do
But
the job better as well. I genuinely think that he knew how to do the job. He liked the limelight, but he knew how to do the job. But you never saw Graham Williams or Hinchcliffe, did you?
Well, when you occasionally
outside of a
see
convention.
Hinchcliffe in interviews, he's very, very shy and sort of timid man, but a genius. But he's not a front of camera person, is he? That was the thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, this Radio Times article, let's get into this and let's have a chat about this, because this is the headline from it. Doctor Who Christmas special will solve the longest standing mystery. Stephen Moffat and Russell T Davies were speaking in an interview for this week's issue of Radio Times magazine. Here we go. From 2005 to 2017, under the auspices of Russell T Davies and then Stephen Moffat, Doctor Who had a Christmas special every year. Then the show experimented with New Year outings for a while. But when Davies took over again in 2023, he says he kicked the door down and insisted on Yuletide yarns. Doctor Who is just very Christmassy, he explains now, ahead of current Time Lord Gatwa's second festive adventure. It feels like family. It feels entertaining. It's got comedy and tragedy. It absolutely is Christmassy, agrees Moffat, who was asked by Davies to write this year's special. Doctor Who occupies the same space in a child's mind as Santa Claus. You know, he's grumpy to adults but loves kids. The Doctor and Santa have always belonged together. Davies has written 6 Who Christmas specials to date. Moffat's figure, including this new episode, stretches to 9. But that doesn't mean he has become any less ambitious in his festive scripts. This year, the Doctor will tell you the answer to that question you've been asking since you were a small child, Moffat proclaims. The solution to the longest standing mystery in not merely the Doctor Who universe, but the universe as a whole. Watch on Christmas Day. Ooh. Exactly what that mystery is remains, well, a mystery, says Radio Times. Though we do know this episode, titled Joy to the World, is set in a time hotel, which allows the Doctor to visit Everest Base Camp in the 1950s, the Orient Express, the Second World War, the year 4202, and the distant past. Sounds like the War Games. And as ever, he won't be investigating alone. With Millie Gibson's Ruby Sunday having departed earlier this year, Bridgerton actor and Gatwa's Barbie co-star Nicola Coughlan steps into Christmas as the eponymous Joy before a new full-time companion starts next year. In RT's exclusive preview picture, we see the duo in a dingy B&B confronted by an ominous briefcase clamped to Joy's wrist, the very item the Doctor is chasing through history. I was like, it's set in a hotel, so the body has to be baggage, laughs Moffat. You've got Ncuti's Doctor discovering who he is without a companion, adds Davies. He's on a whole new quest to find himself. Boring. It's gorgeous. It's properly heartbreaking and fun. Oh, and there's a dinosaur. What more do you want? Well, I'd settle for Doctor Who, to be quite honest.
Yeah, that'd be nice. Yeah, that'd be nice.
That would be good. So that's them in the Radio Times interview. We had this as well. I don't know if you know, because this week, of course, Panini released Doctor Who magazine this week, tying in with all this. Now we're not really going to look at it now because I'm going to save it for a future show. But you know that whole thing, the production notes, guys, where Russell writes a page of waffle. But look at this. Yeah. 2 hold hands are posing. You might already have seen a Radio Times pre-Christmas photo shoot centering on an all-time BBC classic double act. From the home of Gavin and Stacey, Wallace and Gromit, Midwife and Baby, we bring you Moff and RTD. Yes, on a cold October morning, they photographed the 2 of us in a fireside setting with a Christmas tree and presents and tinsel and looking like the grumpiest gay couple in the world. We look like a Hallmark movie in which my niece will fall in love with his nephew. Trust me, we don't want to do this, but it's publicity. We sat there muttering, with fixed grins under the lights, trying to imagine the strapline yet another turkey. More repeats at Christmas. For the love of God, enough. Hear, hear. But ultimately, we thought it's bound to be talking turkey. I wonder. Yeah. They certainly do love it, don't they? I mean, they don't want to be doing this. Of course they do. They love it. So what do you think about all that, guys?
Well, I'm still shocked that this is Shooty's second Christmas special. I can't believe where's the time gone, and he's still here.
And we've not had anything really special in that time.
No, we haven't.
It's
No,
been
And if this is the 10th episode, where is the Doctor? Like we've said, But
Yeah.
We've been asking that for years, though, haven't we?
yeah,
There's nothing inspiring in any of that, and it's just the usual same old platitudes and bollocks shoved and served up again and again and again. You get immune to it, don't you? It has, the first Christmas special or the second Christmas special, you'd be reading the write-up in Doctor Who magazine. You're getting genuinely excited about it. You'd be looking forward to it. Fill that nice gap, because at the end of it as well, you'd get the trailer for the episodes coming in the next series. That was all exciting too. And now it's just like, oh, get it done. Get it over with.
Yeah. There's an awful lot of comments from everybody in the chat as well. What more do we want this problem being? We want Doctor Who back with good writing and someone in the role that understands it, RTD. And Paul Rhodes says, finding himself, we've been there and we've done that recently.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing about that whole thing, do you remember we reported here on Who's Views that RTD said that the whole thing about the bi-generation thing was to leave his cosmic angst and his anxiety and the war thing all behind, and this was supposed to be a restart. So why are we in the same situation again? Bad writing, and because they've got nothing else to do. They can't do it, can they?
We're kind of hoping he just got on with it and just travelled to time and space fighting monsters, didn't we? But that didn't happen.
That's all we want.
Yeah.
What about all Moffat stuff with Capaldi at the start? Am I a good man? And finding himself there as well. It's the same old from the same old people.
That's what they think builds character, Ian, obviously. And I think they're wrong. I think they're totally wrong. But who am I? I'm just a fan. I'm not a writer, so therefore I don't count. My viewpoint isn't relevant, is it? Do you know what I mean? We've got Farsec saying here, I'd just love a proper creepy Doctor Who story for once.
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't like them, as you all know, Bog Fanish, but that Chimes of Midnight from God knows how many years ago was proper Christmas.
Oh,
something like that on Christmas night would be brilliant, not just for fans, but for the viewing public, because Christmas and spookiness, as Charles Dickens proved quite brilliantly, go together.
Yeah.
And why wouldn't say do something spooky every Christmas if you're going to continue all this Christmas nonsense? Just once do a ghost story, because we haven't had a haunted house thing, have we?
Oh, I'd love to see Paul McGann doing that on film, Chimes of Midnight. That'd be superb. Absolutely superb. Yeah.
Robert's work in that is exemplary.
Superb,
John Mason is saying to us here, Doctor Who and Christmas specials don't mix. They're always silly and unsatisfying. I can say the only ones I've really enjoyed, John, Christmas Invasion.
Yeah.
I quite like that because it was special at the time as well. Because, this is different watching Doctor Who as a Christmas special on Christmas night. Yeah. That was quite good. I like the one with Capaldi and the Dream Crab things.
Yeah, that was a good one.
I thought that was quite good. And there was another one I quite liked. I can quite like Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
I think that would be my third that I like. Brian's asking us, after what I've just read there from the Radio Times, does that make you want to watch it? My choice is no, not on your life.
Yeah.
It's a great point, Brian, because remember, this is the Radio Times, which, although it doesn't allegedly sell as much as it used to, because there's so much choice around now, and it is expensive on a weekly basis, and you can get cheaper versions of it from the competitors. But you're still, ironically, and this might be controversial, but you're still getting a certain set of middle-class people buying this, who the BBC don't actually want, but they still buy the Radio Times. Now, are they going to be looking at this interview with two people they probably don't know who are allegedly involved with Doctor Who, who are not starring in it? Are they going to tune in? We'll soon find out, won't we, Brian?
We will, won't we?
Yeah.
JT, if it's still being dodgy back screen, Kirsty's let me know that we had a super sticker from Lex Kane for £1.99, and we had a super chat from Hugh Janus for £5.
Thank you very much to both of them. I am not seeing any of this, I'm afraid. I don't know what's happening. I will report this through, so keep me informed, Kirsty, and everybody else, of any of these super chats. So thank you so much for your super chats there. I am not getting them through on the platform I'm using here. We are using StreamYard, and it's not happening. I am not getting that. I am seeing the chats, but I'm just not getting any of the super chats.
It's weird, isn't it?
Sorry about that. It's very, very strange. There was obviously I will report it after the show. Both RTD and Moffat stayed too long and ran out of ideas their first times around, says Paul.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Sean Cryer saying it's got nothing in the hands of that pair. Exactly. Timkins is with us. I mean, I do recall RTD's joke about regenerating into Moffat by falling downstairs. I quite liked them then. Well, yeah, because they were doing a job, weren't they? And they were not pushing agendas.
I'd like them to fall downstairs now, though. I'd watch that. That'd get good ratings, wouldn't it?
But no regeneration at the end, though.
What got me about the trailer was the Doctor having to ask himself what he needed to do next. Seriously, you're meant to be the Doctor, says Mudcrab.
There was a bit that struck me in the trailer that made me laugh. It was Nicola Coughlan was actually trying to encourage the Doctor again, like they did with Bonnie in I think the last one last season as well. It's like, stop repeating yourself, for God's sake, you know?
Yeah. Well, this is all it's been, hasn't it? And they're not even doing it to a high standard. It's very lazy, as we saw in that nonsense we had earlier this year. Carmen is with us. Hello, Carmen. It feels like they pull a lot of random stuff out of a hat and then try to string it together into a story. Doesn't it just? It's painful. It's absolutely painful. And Babette, hello, Babette Bombshell. This series has been a snake eating its tail for donkey's ages. Yeah, that's the way to go. Stephen Braddock is saying, imagine if Doctor Who at Christmas did what Ghost Story did for Christmas. Okay. Sorry, I think there might be a typo there. I'm not sure, or that I've said it wrong. And Raymond Williams saying to us, I enjoyed Last Christmas. Santa proved that they were still in a dream state, but proper scary moments in it, plus some great funny moments. And Shona should have been the companion.
She should have been. She was great. Yeah.
It's just ridiculous where we've got to now, is it? But again, this is the publicising Doctor Who in the one edition of Radio Times that nobody gets.
Yeah.
Really. Do you know what I mean? Because it's that one. Oh, literally, everybody. It's available for 2 minutes because that comes out on the Tuesday, but so does the Christmas one.
Because they've not had a Christmas cover since Christmas Invasion, have they? Actually on Christmas Day, I think. Is that right? The one with the TARDIS and a snow globe. I think that was all they had back
Can't
in the
remember.
day. Yeah.
Can't remember at all. I remember that one because it was the big one, wasn't it? It was the first one.
Yeah.
But can't remember. It's all there. But ridiculous. But that's what they're doing. Lots of you talking about this in the chat. So thank you very much. Keep it coming, keep it coming, keep it coming. But that's where we're up to here with them saying, with the publicity, you know, that's what they're saying. I mean, it's just it hasn't hit home at all as far as I'm concerned.
No.
You know, what's happening with it? I don't understand it. Hasn't hit home at all. Anything in the chat that's got there? End of Time was the last Radio Times big Christmas cover, says Lex Kane.
Of course, that was with David Tennant, the TARDIS, and the green Conquer aliens, what they called.
I can't remember the cover.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
Bernard Cribbins is on the cover as well, I think.
That tied in with the BBC indents, though, where it was Doctor Who, wasn't it? Really, wasn't it? Where he was trudging through the snow and the TARDIS was buried in the snow.
Vinvocci,
that's what they're called.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah.
It doesn't inspire much confidence, does it? Really, it doesn't make you think, yes, must watch this. I can't wait to predict the ratings. That'll be fun. So,
and we're going to be doing that, of course, in the next couple of weeks. So stay with us here on Who's Views when we get to that show. I'm looking forward to that one. Really, really am. So but that's that bit in the Radio Times. So that really has started now. I just think it's. Let's see if there's anything in the Christmas edition of Radio Times, the one with Wallace and Gromit about Doctor Who, because surely they'll publicise it again. But that's the big article, I reckon, guys, in that one issue, which nobody tends to go and look after. You
think they put it in the big one, the double? You know, that seems daft. Really.
Yeah.
Anyway,
yeah, it does. It does. So thanks. Forbidden Man saying they've just run out of ideas.
Yeah.
And Time Lord Victorious saying, they did. Doctor Who has been out of the public consciousness for a long time. No one cares, and why should they with terrible writing? Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So I don't know. That's where we're up to with that one. It is silly, but let's see what they come up with next. I'll tell you what else they've come up with next. Now, did you see this, everybody? It was announced this week. Oh, First of all, we had this on RTD's Instagram. Yes, he'd been to see The Importance of Being Earnest, starring Ncuti Gatwa down in London's West End. And the review is exactly what you would expect from RTD. The Importance of Being Earnest at the National Theatre. What a show! Wonderful, infused with a wild queer energy. It sparkles and hoots and leaps and dances, and yet it's the same old play underneath. That's what gets me about this. It's the same old play underneath. So they've changed it. They've basically changed it. These classics stand like monuments, a tight, brilliant farce which had the audience entranced. Crazy applause at the end. Ncuti Gatwa is mesmerizing and the whole cast dazzles. I never thought I'd see such a funny Gwendoline. This is a really lovely show, and don't run for the bus because it's got the greatest curtain call ever staged. Book now. No, I don't want to see it. I'm not paying all this.
Yeah, I don't know why he's wearing a dress. That doesn't make any sense. I know it's a
It's not
comedy,
in
but
the
that's
show.
stretching it a bit. Yeah, it's not in the show.
Ncuti Gatwa. Is there
It's
any
not-
other need for a reason? It's Ncuti Gatwa. Of course he's wearing a bloody dress.
Well, it's the whole thing, isn't it? The whole production, apparently, and I have seen this as well. The whole production has been allegedly cleared up to suit this mythical modern audience. So if you're going there and you're not part of this cult, you are not going to get it, quite frankly. You're not going to understand it. Now, this ties in quite happily with the fact that, well, Stephen Braddock sent me an email now, which ties in with this, because have you seen this week? Ncuti Gatwa has been nominated as the Critics' Choice Award nominee for the Best Actor in a Drama Series. Yes, you heard me correctly. This is it. You've got here the Critics' Choice Award nominee, Best Actor in a Drama Series.
I bet these critics are pinball wizards as well. I bet they are. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to let that sink in just now for a second, because Stephen Braddock did send me the details about the Oscar Wilde show that we were looking at there, The Importance of Being Earnest. And this was from, where was it from, Stephen? Was it from the Telegraph or something? Oh, you haven't put that in there for me. Oh, well, he's given me a quote from one of the critics that went to see it, and I'll read this out to you. Max Webster lands on Oscar Wilde's glittering Victorian masterpiece with the latest incumbent of the TARDIS drawing the crowds. It goes on from the critic. While I don't want to be a party pooper, a slight sense of exhaustion set in watching Gatwa's concertedly exuberant subtext declaring earnest, which amply suits the gaiety of the panto season and has its moments, but isn't really one for the annals. Continues, laying aside the fact that presenting a man in a pink dress as a model of homosexual liberation might now be deemed passé. Totally. Some of us were doing it in the 90s to prove a point. Gatwa's performance is self-aware, preening, droll, and camp. It leaves you in little doubt as to where Algernon Moncrief's proclivities lie. There you go. So that's not what I would call a glowing review. And yet here he is up for a television award for a series of which he wasn't in 2 episodes for. Now,
crap in the
call
other
me
side.
anything you like, guys, but I smelled tit boxing.
Yeah. All right. Money changing hands, allegedly. Yeah. So.
Yeah. This is DEI all over. You know, no longer is it about the talent. No longer, in my opinion, no longer is it about the actual performance and the delivery. It's about, we've got to be seen to be doing this. That's what my opinion is. And I think that's it. Because when you look at somebody being brave enough to put an opinion there by saying he's basically all these things that he's just said, which is what he was doing in Doctor Who because of the god-awful scripts.
Yeah.
Well, come on. What you know, I mean, come on. He's a nominee for the Critics' Choice Award, so the public don't even get a chance for this. That Critics' Choice in the industry, I smell shite.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what you two think of that.
Well, you want to have the Viewers' Choice Award and see what happens then and what the viewers say. Remember that? I think Tennant got one once, I think, didn't he? So it'd be nice to see what the audience really think about him rather than the people in the know, as it were.
Yeah. Yeah, well, totally, yeah.
DEI didn't earn it.
Yeah.
That's what it stands for. And
yeah.
He's going to walk away with it, most likely, because he is that demographic that they want to portray as successful.
It'll be interesting to see the opposition in the category, who's up against, if there are other people in the running for it.
Yeah.
What would RTD do if he was up against Jerick for something? That'd throw him, wouldn't it? He wouldn't know
It
which
would.
way to go.
Torn allegiance there. Yeah.
It's not going to happen because Jerick's not big in this country. They might think he
No.
is, and certainly the TQ cult puts the fact, oh, he's brilliant, but who the hell's heard of him? I'd never heard of him until he was in Doctor Who, and then when I realised who he was, and we started talking about him a little bit more, I thought, what a very sad individual, what a very confused, sad individual that show business has pandered to, and not put the money in helping and supporting him through what is obviously a mental health, ill health issue, obviously, which is what would have happened 15 years ago. He would have been referred to experts, wouldn't he? But now, oh no, let's just pander to you and endorse you. You know, Julianne's having a good laugh at this. Best actor in a drama series.
Is it for a different show or is it for Doctor Who?
It's for Doctor Who.
Is Doctor Who a drama series anyway? Really?
No. Are they having a laugh? Best actor has to be a joke, says John. Yeah, and it is unbelievable, isn't it, Raymond Williams? It absolutely is. And Stephen Braddock says, JT, it was the Telegraph. There you go. They're not really bending the knee and pandering like the rest of them are. They can be a little bit woke, but not as bad as some of them. And Lee Smith is saying if Gatwa wins, it's a fix. Well, of course it is. It's the DEI thing. Honestly, it's DEI. And people are going to hate me now for saying, "Oh, but he's talented. He's this." I haven't seen evidence of it. Sorry, that's my thing. You know, he's still playing Eric in Space in Doctor Who, as far as I'm concerned, and now he's playing Eric in Oscar Wilde, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Like RTD, one track. You know, that's all they've got, you know, one ability. Because if you look at RTD's writing, let's get down to this. If you look at RTD's writing, all he can do is write things about gay people. That's it. You know, that's it. And not even that now. It's all TQ issue now. When you look at the actual, things he's had success for, you know, that's what he's known for. He's brought it into Doctor Who. He made the Doctor gay this year, for heaven's sake. Or same-sex attracted, you know?
Consider, like I think you've said before, JT, consider how he reacted in 2005 when he was interviewed about the returning Doctor Who, and they asked him, they dared to ask him, was he going to make the Doctor gay, and how he reacted against that and said how ridiculous it was, and yet here we are. It was his plan all along.
Yeah.
And it's overwhelmingly been rejected by the British fan base, by the British public, who don't care anymore. It's been rejected by the overwhelming majority of Doctor Who fans. We don't want this. We just want Doctor Who that we recognise. A man in a police box battling monsters through time and space. And they have to push all this crap into it. I've said it awful so many times. It is ridiculous, isn't it? Lee Smith is asking us, what viewers?
Yeah.
Good point. Absolutely good point. Yeah. It's just, and Stephen Braddock saying to us, look, it's tip boxing to the extreme. No one I know rates him as the Doctor, and I'm not just talking about Doctor Who fans either. I don't know anybody that's seen him as the Doctor, because everybody I know that isn't a Doctor Who fan doesn't watch the thing.
Well, we've certainly not seen the Doctor at all, have we? That's for sure.
No. But Paul, people say to me when I say to them, this is, I do this channel. Oh, is that still on? Oh, what's there to talk about? Oh, no, and I have to tell them, well, we slag it off most of the time. But we celebrate the original stuff. Elizabeth, Lady Knightsbridge is with us. Hello, Lady Knightsbridge. I was going to say Wallace could Gatwa off the stage, but come to think of it, Gromit probably could too.
Yeah.
Well, they got more
the Daleks are more active than he is, you know.
The judges have been bought. It's a fix, says Farsight. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me. Phil Roy is saying to us here, I thought Shooty did an interview where he said he wanted to play different roles with all the acting weapons in his arsenal. He's played camp and gay in Sex Education, Barbie, Doctor Who, and now Ernest. Yeah. Go figure on that one.
I think his arsenal was empty, if you pardon the expression, I have to say.
I think it was missing an NAL.
Yeah.
I don't think. Hello, Peace. Nice to see you. Hello to everybody that's joining us now. Yeah. You've got to show your ability and your range, haven't you, as an actor? Unfortunately, at the moment, it's so DEI driven that that's all you're hired for. The color of your skin or your gender or your sexuality. So you're not going to get the diversity that they crave so much, allegedly, because they're playing the same thing all the time. So if you look at, as I say, all I'm seeing now is Eric from Sex Education in Doctor Who, because that's how it's been written.
Yeah.
I think it's ridiculous, isn't it? Because it's so
We've said this many times before that even if they wrote it like the Doctor, could he play it like the Doctor? That's the question. I doubt it. Yeah.
I think he'd probably have one of those existential crises that Richard, whatever his name was, back in the day, when they were looking for a replacement for John Pertwee, and he could only see playing the Doctor as
Mr.
Mr.
Pastry.
Pastry.
Yeah.
He couldn't see it any other way. What, you want me to play Mr. Pastry as Doctor? And that's what he's doing. He has no ability to see beyond what he's like willfully typecast, isn't he?
Yes, and he's creating a lot of it himself. So
Yeah.
as we heard, allegedly he wanted to play the Doctor a certain way and wear a certain outfit, and RTD has come back and said, no, I don't do this. I don't want this. I want basically Eric, and I want this, and this, and he's gone with it. Now, if that turns out to be true, when we find out eventually if that's true, then what can you do? If your boss is telling you to play a certain way, you play it a certain way. Hello to Shelley Ingle. Nice to see you, Shelley. Thanks for joining us here on Who's Views. You do it a certain way, but I would like to have seen, did he have this version of what the Doctor was? Did he have a version of what the outfit looked like? I want him to come back and tell us when the show's finished and when he's done his time, what he wanted. Because I'd like to see, did I misjudge him?
Well, I was going to say, it'd be interesting to see if we have done that. Would be really intriguing, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Yes. And then we can blame RTD and the cult around him even more, quite frankly, because I would hold him to account. If at some point in the future Gatwick comes back and said, well, my vision of the Doctor was this rather dark, mysterious character, blah, 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 and he was wearing this sort of stuff, we know who to go and blame, don't we, who viewers?
Yeah.
It's as simple as that. And I think part of me thinks that's exactly what's happened.
Yeah.
But even if he had a good interpretation of how to play the character, from what I've seen, I'm not sure he would have had the ability to pull it off anyway. I mean, you're right, Jay. You're right. I was going to say JNT. Sorry, pull myself. You're right. RTD would be to blame if he'd enforced this particular thing, but I still don't think he's got the acting chops to pull off anything truly original.
Well, not if he's being typecast and all he's doing is playing the same things. I mean, he's gone from Doctor Who into The Importance of Being Ernest, where he's playing basically another camp character. And yet the thing is as well, Ernest isn't.
No.
I mean, Ernest is a heterosexual.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is about, that if you haven't seen The Importance of Being Ernest or you haven't read it or whatever, it's a cracking thing. It's very confusing because it's all tongue-tied, twisted thing, all lies and deceptions where they all have to get themselves out of it. It's hilarious, the mess to get into. So where does the bloke in the dress come into it?
Yeah, the only thing is it's about not knowing who you are in terms of who your family is, rather than being a sexual thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing to do with that, is there? It really isn't. It's all this. It's the suggestion, and it's done in that polite way. But anyway, there we go. So I suppose we should say congratulations for your nomination, Shooty. But problem being saying to us that he's not interested at all in what Shooty Gatwa has to say. I would be actually in the future after he's done and dusted and he's released some contract and he can say what he wants to do if he wants to. I'd be interested if he would come back and say it wasn't exactly how I thought about it. In which case I would be, calling out on this show for RTD.
He just wanted the black leather jacket. That's all he wanted. That was it. Yes.
Yeah. Why did you have a different episode every week? I don't know. There we go. So we got all that. Another thing that emerged this week as well in the last few days was this was some social media. What is it with this generation? And they have to pout in front of a camera. I don't get it. What we're showing now for those of you listening is black and white pictures of Shooty Gatwa and the new companion whose name has completely gone out of my head. Yes, this is what appeared on social media over the last few days. I just don't get it. Pout, 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 pout. Why do they always have to do this generation?
They look insufferable, don't they?
Totally.
Yes.
Totally. And yet,
like paralyzed fish.
Yeah. I can't stand all this nonsense. They get it from reality television and everything, don't they? But she's introduced in episode 1 of series 2, as we know.
Is it Belinda Chandra, I think she's called, is that right?
The character, I can't remember the actor's name now at the moment, I'm afraid. But yes.
Or something.
We've got here Lex Saints was awful woke pictures. Good God says problem being what a bunch of trendies. And DWH, nice to see you here on Who's Views. Thank you for joining us. The viewing figures are so poor now, awful. We've been covering that the majority of this year, DWH. So welcome to Who's Views. Stay with us because our ratings analysis is coming back. We are going to be looking more at the ratings as we go on into 2025. Of course we are. That takes us very nicely, everybody, to this story as well. Vashta Naradi Setu, I think her name is, says Craig Dunlop. Vashta Narada. It's something like that, isn't it? Sarada Netu, I think it is.
Very
I think you're
similar,
right
yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
But we've got this. That made me laugh. Thank you, Craig. This takes us on very nicely when we're talking about ratings and stuff like that, because, of course, the big story that has broken and has got fandom still continually talking is there going to be a season 3? Who cares? No one. But, Gabs, that's the big question. We've been talking about this for ages because RTD has gone on record several times now saying a series 3 has not been commissioned. But this weekend, especially in Doctor Who, what is left of Doctor Who fandom, which is mostly where I don't want to tread, to be quite honest. But yeah, they have actually been reading into it. And a lot of them are very, very concerned about the fact that it doesn't look like Disney is staying around to fund a series 3. Now, where have they come to this conclusion, I hear you ask?
Where have they come to this conclusion, JT?
Well, I can tell you, Paul, thank you very much, because yes, Russell T Davies was on BBC Radio 4 this Friday in an interview on the Today programme. Now, I have to say, the Today programme is not what it was. I mean, Mrs. Thatcher used to listen to bloody that. Do you know what I mean? Back in the day. But it's now the BBC. And so it's shallow, it's watered down. There's none of the usual stuff. If it's somebody that they like, i.e. somebody from the left-leaning policies, they won't give them a tough time. If it's somebody they don't like, anyone from the centre-left, centre-right, or even right, they'll grill them. They'll grill them and they'll say all sorts of things because it's the BBC. But Russell T Davies was on here, everybody. And you may have seen this, but let's get into it because this is the big one. Has Disney walked? After this, I'm inclined to think, yes, they have. Let's have a look. Doctor Who showrunner acknowledges he doesn't know if there will be a third series. We know this. On BBC Today, on BBC Radio 4, Doctor Who showrunner Russell T Davies acknowledged that he doesn't yet know if there will be a third new series after season 2. Oh, I don't know. I'm loving it. We don't know if there's a third series yet. Series 2 will go out in the summer and then they'll decide. The BBC will decide as well its future, but I'm happy to stay with it. I love it. It's more fun than anything else. Now, let's face it as well, that Russell T Davies, no disrespect at all, but let's be factual. What else is he going to go on to?
Yeah.
You know, well, I mean, he should be looking at possibly taking the money and just
It
retiring.
might be fun for him, but not for anyone else. You know?
Well, that's true. He said that, not me. But anyway, let's carry on with this. The BBC deal with Disney Plus allowed for 3 60th anniversary specials, 2 Christmas specials in 23 and 24, 2 8-episode series in 24 and 25, and a 5-episode spin-off titled The War Between the Land and the Sea. The deal has yet to be renewed, and as Davis has said before, the decision for that won't happen until after season 2 completes transmission. When a streamer is brought in to finance a show, much depends on their decisions and their choice of timing to make those decisions, Davies explained to the BBC Disney deal to BBC Today. The BBC made a move to go to a streamer, says RTD. It's still on BBC One here. It's still on the iPlayer. It's just the rest of the world, it goes out on Disney Plus. And the BBC thought, and they went to me, because they thought that the show deserved to look as good as Stranger Things and as the Star Wars shows. Why should we be the humble little show being made in a shoe cupboard? And I think that's the way everything is heading. Let's face it, every single drama you ever watch on television has had American money or co-production money in it for about 25 years. So this is actually nothing new. This is just the next step. And it's a lovely experiment. We've had a great time and think we've made the best shows that really show that off. And we show Britain at its best as well. British crews, entirely British crews, entirely British writers and directors. It shows us off worldwide. Now, just before we go to the next section of this, I want to say, well, actually, that's not true. Entirely British writers and directors. No disrespect, but isn't Rachel Talalay Canadian or American or something? And isn't those, those 2 women who wrote that awful, dire, god-awful episode Rogue that we all hate American?
I think they were.
Am I right or wrong, Who viewers? Please let me know if I'm wrong. So he's not necessarily telling the truth. We also know that season 2 has a more diverse range, including some brand new to television writers. Doctor Who, brand new. Time Lash, anybody? Anyway.
Hope you're watching, Phil.
So anyway, we've got that there. So that's what he said on all that. So let's off. He's saying it shows us off worldwide. And that's the other thing. Worldwide, people across the world, if they've tuned into this, see how bad British television is at the moment through this space baby, the Dragon's Board. I'm totally embarrassed. That's not the British. Oh, for heaven's sake, let's move on. Does this mean Davies is troubled about the uncertainty of a renewed commission with Disney? He gave BBC Today this optimistic response. It's a fool who doubts Doctor Who's future. I think it's like 61 this year. Look at the way he's talking now. I think it's like 61 this year. And yes,
he's getting down with the kids, isn't he? That's it. So
Moffat's doing the same. It's like oh, get your thesaurus and your dictionary out. 61 this year, and yes, it would have found some different shape, some different form. There's a version that could go out late at night on BBC Three. I'm sure you certainly could write that version, couldn't you, RTD? I'm sure. He goes on there to explain that Doctor Who over the years has found its audience with radio shows, with comic strips, with the books. And that's why he says, oh, there could be, in my head, there's a late night version on BBC Three. Yeah, we don't doubt it, but we're actually seeing a watered down version of that on BBC One on a Saturday, aren't we? So this is what he's saying here. So I can understand why certain fans have grasped onto that little bit there, you know, where he's talking about this. It's a lovely experiment. We've had a great time. So it's from these little bits of past, the way he's spoken about it. You can hear about this on the radio. They've gone, oh my God, there isn't going to be a season 3. So there's a minority of that fan base there, you know, the personal pronoun using lot, who are absolutely, totally crapping themselves at the moment. But don't you worry, everybody. I'd like to remind you that yet again, here on your friendly Who's Views, we will be here for you when that cancellation comes through with our helpline, which I will be making a fortune out of you on.
Well, so I kind of feel like I said in my heading here that Renticle finally have arrived. They're exterminating the mice as we speak, I reckon. You know, other exterminators are available. Just to mention that.
Well, I mean, thank you everybody for get this in, get your comments in while I ask the guys here. What's your reaction to the BBC Radio 4 Today interview with Russell T Davies, which is very shallow? You can hear it. It's on for about 5 minutes. You can hear it. Come on.
I generally listen to Radio 4 in the morning, just before starting work, and I didn't catch this, to be fair, but I will normally hear it. And you're absolutely right about their approach and everything else. I mean, it was their presenter, Nick Robinson, who I think is their anchor, or it sounds like anchor anyway, that he was interviewing Boris Johnson when he was Prime Minister.
That's the famous one, isn't it?
Yeah, forget what you think about Boris Johnson. He's irrelevant. It's you were interviewing the British Prime Minister.
Yes.
And he interrupted him and said, "Stop, I am talking." And they just do not interrupt left-wingers like that. They would never do that to Starmer, either as opposition or as Prime Minister, for the abortion Prime Minister that he is. But they would never do that. And they are incredibly biased, and they have an agenda. Everything absolutely is. I'll often tweet about them on a morning because they've incensed me so much.
Do you?
Yeah, but it generally happens. I can't help it. But it's just ridiculous. You know, they're climate change fanatics and everything else. You know, they're obsessed about that. Everything is this, everything is that, or anti-Brexit. They're anti-Brexit. You know, and it's obscene, some of the stuff they come out with. They're horrendous these days. So although I didn't hear the interview, it doesn't surprise me if it had a very sycophantic tone to it at all. And just giving RTD a platform, really, which is a very dangerous thing to do, but it's the BBC.
The impression I get with the interview is that he's trying to get out of this gracefully, that it's been a failure, and he's trying to set it up like it's all been planned. You know what I mean?
Mm.
I'm glad you said that, Paul, because I got this as well. As I say, you can hear this on various places now as well. You can hear. I don't know. You might be able to go onto platforms like X and listen to fans that have put it on there, because some of them did panic, and it's the ones that are loud. You know who viewers who I mean. Those particular fans that are loud. And yes, they were really panicking about this. I tell you something, when the axe does come, and it's coming soon, I swear to you, they are not going to go. It's not going to do well. I mean, we just got on with life. Do you remember in '89, we just got, all in a day, it'll come back. And we had a great time in the wilderness years. This lot will have mental breakdowns left, right, and center. Yeah, I can't wait to cover it on the show. Bring it on. But, this is the whole thing about this. I think you're right, Paul. I think this is him. I think the decision has been made. I think they all know. Surely by now, they should have. Where's the money coming from? You know, where are we going to do it? I can't see them waiting until July, August to say yay or nay. Surely Disney, huge company with its own issues, its own problems, its own alleged reevaluation of the way it's going, financial losses into the billions, more coming next year with Snow Woke, all this nonsense. Surely now they would have told Bad Wolf and BBC Studios yay or nay.
Well, they must have seen season 2, regardless of whether it's finished or not, or edited. They'll have seen a version of it, a rough.
Well, they were involved in it with producers. They had 2 or 3.
Exactly. So they've seen it every stage, and if they see the final product, they know what it's going to be like when it comes out. So there's no reason to wait to say it's been cancelled, really, is there?
No. Timkin is saying to us in the chat, really telling is the word experiment. A crashing success is not an experiment. An ongoing success for years to come is not an experiment. Exactly, Timkins. And this is why I have sympathy and can understand why some of these fans from Whittaker's time onwards who can't bear the thought of Doctor Who not being around, I can understand why they've grabbed onto this word, and they're making YouTube videos about it and crying on X and Facebook and all this sort of stuff. Paul Stenterford is saying to us, of course Disney are not going to fund a season 3. RTD's terrible experiment with Doctor Who has been a miserable failure on both sides of the Atlantic. Not just that, worldwide.
Yeah.
Worldwide. Russell, I have to point out, at this point, was very keen to show, as I said at the beginning of this, that Disney are just a distributor out of the UK. He was very clear at the beginning of the interview, as I read out there, that in Britain it's still on the BBC. It's still on the BBC iPlayer. Big deal. It really was. I mean, who cares? Peter Harrington is saying to us, for the days of BBC Worldwide when it meant something. At least when the show was off the air, BBC Worldwide was sort of looking after it and wanted to do something, even if they got it all messed up and got it wrong occasionally.
You can just hear the tune on the video, can't you, right now?
Yes, you can. And then you had things like the Dark Dimension, which showed that they were keen to at least do something, but we all know what happened to that. Thanks, Mr. Siegel. Actually, I think he probably rescued us, to be honest. I haven't seen the script. Dave Harding is saying, if RTD2 had a good track record with bringing in brand new writers, that might be something to get excited about. And I don't get the sense that's the case, though. Well, that's true, because
he doesn't want competition, does he? He does not want to be shown up for being a mediocre writer, and we've said it several times. The best, when New Who came back originally, hate the term, but when it first came back in 2005, all those best stories were not written by him.
Yeah, it's true, isn't it? Yeah, it's true. You can't, the good ones aren't. I mean, look at Dalek.
Yeah.
Super.
Look at the Moffat one, The Empty Child, The Doctor Dances.
Yeah.
Paul Rose is saying to us here, it doesn't matter how big your reach is if your product is bad and nobody likes it. Exactly.
Yeah.
And Mark Jones, RTD sounds like football team manager whose team are going to be relegated, and he is coming out of denial and letting the fans down softly, which is basically what you were saying, Paul.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Bill Lowry, RTD has said season 2 is more of the same, so the fans will have to lump it, and it's a clear FU to fans. He's gone on, and I can clarify that. Basically, when fans have said there's too much crying, which even the ones that are not happy about this news of it possibly not getting a third series, they've said, oh, come on, because of the trailer that we've just been talking about. He's crying in the trailer again. So everybody, and this is what I mean, everybody now seems to be united and going, oh, not again. The Doctor's crying again. Too much, too much, too much. But yes, Bill, you're right. RTD has said, well, if you don't like it, tough, because there's more to come in season 2. So expect a crying Doctor ninnying and mincing his way through series 2. No wonder the thing is in the toilet, and no wonder it's that close if it hasn't already been decided on getting axed. You know, Demorpin, hello, nice to see you. I believe the Loki Rogue writers are British. Are they? Right, I stand corrected then. For once, those Americans aren't to blame. But for once, yes. Their sensibilities are very American, though. Right, if that's the case, I put my hands up now. Stand corrected. I don't know. I just assume they're American because of the Loki thing. But if they are if they are British, they should know better, and they should know Doctor Who. And obviously they don't. So yes, their sensibility is American. This is what happens when British people spend too long in Hollywood, in the industry.
They're obsessed with their own politics, though, aren't they? They're obsessed with all of that. So, you know, you're not going to get good, solid British writing. But, you know, we're not getting it anyway, are we?
No.
I mean, the thing, like Doctor Who, we didn't care that Loki was gay either. We don't want that at all.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
No, we don't. It's just all ridiculous now, isn't it? We've got this as well from Sean. Hi, Sean. I just wish they would farm the franchise out to a company who knew how to make good TV and divorced it from the bloody BBC altogether. Well, the BBC are always going to own it because they know it's theirs and they know they can make money from it.
Also,
when I look at Paul, the amount of superb independent production companies now that would take this and run with it and look after it, I do cry, because I just think there are some decent people in the industry who would just make Doctor Who and then reap the benefits of the rewards of good viewership, a great fan base, merchandise sales. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. It really, really is. Geordie Boy is telling us RTD stands for Repeat the Disaster. I like that. I really like that one. TARDIS Travels is saying the Today programme is rubbish these days.
It is.
And Garbage, and thanks again to Garbage and Kirsty for being in the chat. Make sure everybody's all right. In my job, if I change the product and the customers complain and walk away, I would be sensible and go back to the old product. I wouldn't insult them like RTD does. That's show business for you, because they're the ones that are in the right, Garbage. You know that. You know that.
Like the government, though, as well, isn't it? I mean, if you, and I'm just referencing this one because they're here now, but they do something that is so incredibly unpopular that every single person in the country could possibly stand and object to, they would still double down on it and say, well, we're giving you more of the same. And that's fine while they're in power, but it doesn't get forgotten ultimately. And the public, whether it's a viewing public or an electorate, does not forget. They think you do, but they've never quite cottoned on to the internet age and that everything that they say is there forever, and it gets thrown back at a moment's notice, and they can't wriggle out of it. They can't say, no, I never said that, because somebody will just post video of them actually saying that, and they've been caught out numerous times already, haven't they? But doubling down on what is incredibly unpopular is an amazingly stupid and brainless tactic, but you see it a lot.
It's all about this whole thing now. This is what has happened when these extreme left-wing ideologists are challenged, and they think the way that they can shut people up is by calling them an ot and isterophobe. Well, news for them, it doesn't work anymore, because we're all used to it. We've had it for 7, 8, 9 years, you know, and it's water off a duck's back now. Call us what you like, but the truth is the truth, and you have to be challenged, because you lot are the dictators. And it happens in politics now. It's happened in showbiz now. You don't agree with me, you won't do what I tell you. You're not an isterophobe. What a load of old nonsense that is. It really isn't. It really is just ridiculous, isn't it? Lee Smith saying to us, RTD2 is a TV dictator about to be ousted from power. It begs the question, what would he do next? What could he do next?
At least he won't be doing Doctor Who next. That would be the good thing. You know?
It would probably involve something gay.
No, I think it will be the TQ cult drama he wants to do.
Yeah.
It'll all be about the T and the Q.
He has no range, does he?
No, that's what I'm saying. He will go back to that and fall back on that, and nobody's going to watch that either, because nobody would be interested. It'll be on at 9 o'clock on Channel 4, possibly with a production company he's used before. Lovely production company. Hello, Nicola. You know, that sort of stuff. It could be that one. but nobody's going to be interested because the time is spent, and there's no goodwill now. There's no goodwill to go and look at his other stuff because people don't like him anymore.
No.
Yeah.
John Henson, welcome to Who's Views. Substandard production and all that money. Davis's Pure Agenda, all the black actors available, and they pick someone who can only cry. Again, if the actor is told that's what they've got to do, he's going to do it. And it's such a shame because the characters come from Russell, not necessarily shooty. It's down on paper that this is how he is now. And he said this, hasn't he, guys? Russell has gone down saying this is how he is now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But like
we've
you
got
said,
to-
after all that, drop the baggage, let's get on with it. It didn't happen. It's really bizarre, isn't it?
He's gone and picked it all back up again, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really lazy
And
writing. Yeah.
This is why Julianne's saying to us, the BBC haven't commissioned a third series either, regardless of Disney dumping it. I can't see them having done that. Somebody somewhere knows, especially in studios, this thing's worth money, but currently it's not working. We've got to give it a rest. Surely that's what's happening. I'm really looking forward to 2025, everybody, because I think the content we're going to get to discuss with here on the show with all of you is, I think, going to be fantastic. I think they're going to give us gifts every other day. I think you're going to get sick of our ugly mugs on this channel as we all come together to talk about everything they're giving us, because I do think now, I think a decision has been made personally. I think they're keeping it secret so that it doesn't affect season 2. But guess what, you lot? Nobody's going to be coming to season 2 anyway. You might as well just tell us now. Put all these fans that love this thing and care about all these things, put it to bed now so they can get ready. And don't say to them at the end of the run, oh, it's not coming back, because they're all going to have breakdowns. They really will. They are honestly going to go,
that'll be why the Graham Norton interview was cut, because they'd cancelled it. That's why.
The speculation is there from these people now as well, because that could be the thing, you know. But I think to keep them hanging on till June, July, and give them bad news, because let's face it, if Doctor Who season 2 gets less than 1 million, which I'm convinced it's going to, because it was going that way.
Please.
They're not going to renew it, and I think Disney have made that decision now. You know,
Yeah.
Malachi is saying to us, certain fans are convinced Doctor Who will still carry on with the BBC without Disney if they pull out, but RTD said it would not continue if it was not for Disney saving the day. Yeah, there's that element of it too. And as I've said, as I'm starting to disprove now, I've always said I reckon BBC Studios and Bad Wolf could afford this show themselves. It now appears that they can't, allegedly, and we're recovering that here on Whose Views on Headlines. So stay with us, because there's more about that discussion to come, because thanks to you who viewers getting in touch with me saying, are you sure about that, JT? Do you want to look into it? I did, didn't I? And in previous shows we've started to show actually they needed the Disney money.
And I don't think that another streamer will pick it up because it's so damaged.
I think it's toxic now. I think it's damaged goods, to quote a Russell T Davies book from the wilderness years. It's definitely damaged goods. Who'd want to touch it? You need at least a 5-year minimum break, and then you need carte blanche to erase anything or everything from 2005.
It will be a brave man that tries to bring Doctor Who back. I think it's done. I think it's had its day, and I think it should be off now for good, and leave it. Just leave it. It's had 2 goes. First 26 years, massively successful. The second year for around about what, 8 series was it?
Yeah.
Well, the first 4 series, 5 maybe, 5. The first 5 series massively successful. Then it tapers off. It tapers off. And the last few years, dire.
God awful.
Get rid of it. Just get rid of it. Let it go. Just let it go and get on with it. You know, that's what I say. Paul Rose is saying, RTD will take over Star Trek, of course. Yeah, because we talked about that. He was touting for a job, wasn't he, on there? It was,
they're such good friends, aren't they? So
I still think that fella from Star Trek didn't know who the hell he was.
Yeah, who's this man? Can you get security? Yeah.
What accent is that? Ark in Space, the Doctor Who podcast, is agreeing with myself. RTD will go back to his one-off dramas on Channel 4, but who's going to watch them? Because it would be interesting, isn't it? Well, I've said this to a friend of mine recently. What if he's actually going to end Doctor Who on a low point? They won't use the word axed. They
Yeah.
won't use the cancelled word. They use the word renewed. Hasn't been renewed.
Yeah.
Because in the industry, if something axed or cancelled, it looks bad. And they'll all want to go and get other jobs.
Doctor Who's gone off the air for retooling, I think it's called. Which is quite appropriate when you think about it. Yeah, yeah. So,
It is, yeah, definitely.
Forbidden Man is saying tat is tat, no matter how you dress it up. It really is. And hello to Derek Hart, that's joining us now. He's saying, sorry he's late. Where have you been? Where have you been? We've been on the air for 2 hours and 28 minutes. Where have you been? Georgie boy, that's quite funny. This doctor will drown in his own tears at the end of season 2.
we can only hope. We can only hope, yeah.
That's probably quite funny, actually. And Julianne saying to us, you know who will get the blame when the decision is made public? Toxic fandom.
Us.
Probably right. Yeah, you're probably right, because we didn't come and support it. We didn't come and support it.
We were touching grass, weren't we?
We were told to clear off, weren't we? It wasn't for us. So they can't blame us for not supporting something that they've told us wasn't for us.
True. Bear in mind, though, as well, Julianne and Who Viewers and Paul and Ian, the world next year will be different again. We've already seen the signs. We've seen the signs. It's on the way. The American public spoke. And that has been noticed. That has been sulked about. They've all fled onto this other platform on social media with their echo chambers. Good for them. But the reality is the world is changing. The American public has spoken. It's given confidence to the public around the world. I can't, I'm interested to see what's going to happen because I can't figure it out. Things are changing and the show business industry will have to change with it. And that's why I can't wait till our season 2 reviews for this show, because I've said before, it's already out of date. And I think we will be saying that when we're actually looking from Joy to the World onwards. Ooh, you can tell when this was made. It wasn't 2024. This was in 2025. This was made 23, 24. Do you know what I mean?
Well, we said that many times that the Russell's vision of Doctor Who is too in the now, which dates it terribly, doesn't it? So
it's a mistake he constantly makes.
Yeah,
and he's just not clever enough to avoid doing it. He thinks he is, but he's a legend in his own mind. But ultimately, he's not clever enough to not fall into that trap.
These people
always look dated.
Sorry, these people have believed their own publicity. How many times have we heard Moffat and RTD being called a genius? I'm sick of it. Stop calling them geniuses because they believe it. They're not. They absolutely aren't. And the stuff that Moffat and RTD was writing about was being written about in the wilderness years by other writers as well. There was nothing new. Nothing new. We'd all been there and we'd grown up with them. There was nothing that new because it was all there. It was like reading one long Virgin novel, basically, when you look at their stuff. Legion of James saying you can guarantee the second it's announced that if it's not coming back, the huge finger of deflection will be pointed straight to us as proper Doctor Who fans. And yet again, we be the Istophobes. Yeah. Absolutely. And Lee Smith saying they'd be in pre-production before the summer if season 3 was happening, surely. Of course they would.
Yeah.
They would have to be. They would have to be. They're still filming that Sea Devil thing allegedly now, but I think that comes to an end very soon.
I think this month, yeah.
Yes, I think it's this. I think it is, isn't it, Paul?
Yeah.
December.
So.
And then that goes then into all the other things they have to do, all the editing, the scores, the CGI and all that sort of stuff. That's why I think we'll get that at the end of next year. And that's why I still think that Doctor Who, well, I think Russell's already confirmed it, and we talked about this on the show, it's coming back in May. So Doctor Who season 2 will be back in May. And then we'll get the spin-off at the end of the year. Between those two series will be the announcement of whether it's going for season 3 again or not. Stay with us. It's going to be a busy year. I can't wait. Bring it on.
The very last Doctor Who was actually a spin-off that didn't have the Doctor in it.
Yeah. That would be funny.
Yeah.
But
the last major character name that was ever in Doctor Who was Lethbridge Stewart.
Yeah. Let's have a look at this. Thank you, Stephen and Paul Rose. JT, it's the creators that are the problem. Good stuff is still being made. I'm 4 episodes into the Penguin, and it's great. I don't know what that is, but I'll believe you. It is the creators that are the problem. We know that. And it's also the broadcasters that are the problem, because as I know from experience, if you try to take a project to broadcasters now, they'll say, oh, this is quite good. This is quite good, but you need this checklist. we need this sort of character, we need this sort of character, because the DEI is in there. And that's where you say, well, actually, this doesn't suit the program, this doesn't suit the time, this doesn't suit the whatever it is. Oh, you know, look at the big one I always mention, Paul. The big one was Channel 5's huge success with the independently produced All Creatures Great and Small remake, which the BBC turned down, allegedly, because there was not enough DEI in it.
Yeah, I was going to say that the penguin that's been mentioned by Paul Rose there is a spin-off from the Batman film with Colin Farrell as a penguin. Yeah, and it's I've never seen any of it, but it looks quite intriguing, I have to say.
He's got a massive makeup job on, hasn't he?
The makeup job's incredible. Yeah, he's unrecognisable.
Yeah.
It's still Burgess Meredith for me. Anyway, where's this broadcast?
My one as well. Yeah.
Where's it broadcast?
That I don't know. It's another streaming service, obviously. It's not Netflix. I can't remember which one it is now.
Will it be a Warner Brothers thing? Because they own all the rights to the DC.
It probably will be, yeah. It'll be Warner Brothers.
It's different for us over here because we have to wait for people to take it in the UK because we don't have that sort of platform.
Yeah.
So it would have to come onto something or whatever. And it certainly doesn't go onto terrestrial television unless Channel 4 usually pick it up.
Yeah.
You know, because they took a lot of the Warner Brothers shows, didn't they? The Flash and Supergirl and all that nonsense. Although the BBC did the latest Superman thing, didn't they? Just to get back at them.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Yeah, and that died a death. You know, remember, nobody really cared about that.
Well, I quite like the Flash. Quite enjoyed that, I must admit. But yeah.
Yes, Graham Dawson is correct here. With the BBC have lost another 500,000 TV license payers. It's brilliant. Actually, I think it is 1 million. I think it's 1 million now recently. Another 1 million. So that's at least 3.5 million households in the United Kingdom that have cancelled their ratings, sending a very clear message to the BBC, who, of course, because of the BBC, are ignoring it.
Well, while they've got that government safety net, but, you know, the government can't keep on raising the license fee to accommodate those that are no longer paying it. Ultimately, it's going to become an unsustainable business model.
Well, it already is, I think, Ian.
Yeah. I would completely agree, and I think they should defund it now.
Oh, totally.
In fact, they should have defunded it last year, but there we are.
Yeah, but the new government has decided not to, hasn't they? You know, they've decided, oh no, you can keep the license, and it's going up again in 2025. Again, you know, within 18 months, it's going up again.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous, isn't it? We don't loyally watch the thing we were told not to watch, says Tim Kins. And Theodore Benton, fabulous morning and looking forward to Whose Views reports. Love it. Cheers all. Well, thank you, Theodore. It's nice to see you. Yeah, we've got lots coming up. And there's going to be an awful lot to talk about. Atom is with us saying, I completely disagree, JT. I think Doctor Who can and will continue in the future. It just takes a new visionary to take up the torch and run with it. I, for one, want a horror aspect return like in the 1970s. Atom, I get what you're saying there. But when you look at the British public at the moment, they don't care.
Yeah,
they've been alienated. There's no love for it anymore. They've gone. And I don't think the only reason Doctor Who came back in 2004 for 2005 is because we were there. Yeah, there was a fan base who were loyal, who had bought merchandise for 15 years when the show wasn't off. We were continuing to petition to get the show back. People were listening. They'd had a one-off experiment, using the word, in 1996, which was massive in the UK, got 9 million viewers. It was a huge success. They knew there was an audience in the UK. That audience is no longer there, and the fan base is no longer there. So I get what you're saying, Matt, and respectfully, I'll disagree with you in that one. I don't care. It would be hard work. If someone like any of us took on the show, it would have to be planned meticulously with a huge break, and then bringing it back with a different energy. And the first thing you'd have to do is you have to spend a year courting the fans. And I don't think any new production team would do that, Paul.
I was going to say, it's kind of back in the way it was in the late 80s. It's ridiculed by the public now, I think, sadly.
It's terrible.
It's getting to the extent of who's going to be the next Doctor? Paul Daniels again. That's what it's going to be like. That's where we are now, I think.
Yeah, that's where we are. So, Atom, it might do. I personally, though, sit at the point now where I just say, let it go. Because it's been too much of an embarrassment for me as a Doctor Who fan. It really has.
It was ridiculed unfairly in the 80s, wasn't it? Whereas now it's ridiculed and it warrants it. And
we're all ridiculing it, aren't we? I mean, look at all of
it. It's invited ridicule, hasn't it? I think what Atom's saying, probably The opportunity for that was when they brought Tennant back at the end of Whittaker. That's where, and that's what their initial feeling was before they actually screened, that could have been where it suddenly started getting good again. But obviously he had his agenda, and I think we knew from the very first 20 minutes of Star Beast, with the boy in the dress and the alien saying pronouns, and then right at the end with the Doctor being completely emasculated and humiliated, being a male presenting Time Lord because a woman would have understood. All that bullshit was in there, and then that was it. And you knew from that point it was gone.
And that's when the British public, of course, rejected it from that moment on, because they didn't come back. The viewing figures started to go down again, as we proved on the show. And also what was embarrassing is that anything except the BBC and ITV was ridiculing it on their reviews.
Yeah.
The newspapers were starting to get it. What is this? What is this? It was embarrassing. So Atom, yeah, you might be right. And if you are, brilliant, but I can't see it being in the near future, my friends. I really can't. Sea Devils has wrapped, says Lee Smith. And I read From the Land to the Sea is finished. Principal photography, says Ben Lowry. Now it's on to post-production. Yeah, I think. So aren't we all really looking forward to that?
Yeah, whoopie-doo again. Yeah.
Oh, yes. But again, it's great content for all of us, because we're going to be coming back here and we're going to be talking about it on Who's Views. So make sure you have liked and subscribed to the channel and stay with us as we get through Christmas and go on to the new year. It's great to see you all in the chat. I want to say at this point a huge thank you for your chats tonight. I want to say a huge thank you for your super chats. After the show, I will be looking into why I couldn't see them on this platform. But some people are going to getting a stern email and message from me, I can assure you, wanting to know what is going on and what's happened. But we do appreciate it. So thank you very much. And thank you for Kirsty and Ian for keeping me up to date on all those, because I'm not seeing them on my secondary device either. So thank you so much for everybody. Maybe, says Georgie Boy, those who identify as they could pay the license fee twice along with multiple tax returns. I don't see why they shouldn't.
One license fee for every pronoun, maybe.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
That'll serve them right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm going to agree with Matthew Pounder, who says Doctor Who now needs a good decade in the wilderness.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be amazing. All creatures, great and small, production companies, Playground Entertainment. Yes, it does. It's my choice to take over Doctor Who production and air on Channel 5. Thank you very much. And I know it will never happen. The fact is that BBC Studios now produce Doctor Who can actually select can actually take their shows wherever, but BBC One will always want a Doctor Who because it was a ratings grabber. Not so much now, but it was. It really was. Back in the original day as well. And then it went down. Isn't it amazing how history repeats itself, everybody?
Yeah.
You know?
Especially when people don't learn lessons from the last time.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they just don't listen. And we've had it from the Star Beast on, as Pete's saying here, and they just don't bother, do they? They've just not listened at all. No. It's been an absolute travesty. It really, really has. Well, listen, I think we've waffled on enough, gentlemen.
We never waffle. How dare you?
Yeah, we've got lots more to come, as I keep saying on the show. Stay with us here on Who's Views, but I want to say a huge thank you again for everybody that's joined us tonight. Great audience tonight, lots of chat as ever. This is Headlines. It's your big Sunday night show. Can't wait as we get into to this. We've got more coming up. I can't wait to see what your reactions are. There's lots more news coming up, I'm sure, as we get to Joy to the World. And then as we get past Joy to the World, we've got an awful lot to talk about. Awful being the word, I am sure. What's Atom saying to us here? Yeah, I can see that now. Starbeast had such great potential and had the value of the comic books too. I hate that this is where we are in the fandom. It feels like 1989 all over again. It does feel like 1989 all over again. And you know what? I'm happy about it, to be quite honest. I really am, because as a fan, I'm mortified by where Doctor Who is now. I'm mortified about what the public, the great British public, say to me about it. I'm going to say it. I want it off the air.
Yeah, me too. Never thought I'd agree with that, but yeah, I feel the same. Yeah,
it's that badly ill, much loved relative who you just hope will be out of their misery, but is just clinging on, and it's painful to watch. And Doctor Who is painful to watch.
Yeah.
It's great fun to review. But
It is
it's
great fun
painful
to
watch.
review. But that's what we're all here for. And I'm glad that everybody's here with us as well. It's lovely to see you all. Thank you so much for being with us here on the Big Show for Headlines as ever tonight. We will be back very soon. Don't forget that on Wednesday here on Who's Views, live at 8 o'clock UK time, we are going to be celebrating and reviewing children's BBC classic from 40 years ago, The Box of Delights. It's also a very big classic children's novel, which they probably don't even read at school anymore. But there you go. We're going to be reviewing that. If you are in the UK and you have access to the BBC services, you can get it on the iPlayer right now. If you want to come and join in with the chat with us in the chat, it'd be great to see you all. But it's Patrick Troughton. Come and join us as we celebrate his wonderful performance in this fantastic show. It's so Christmassy. You've got to see it to believe it. So Paul and Third Doctor Ian, thank you so much as ever for joining me and having a great chat here. I've really enjoyed tonight. Well done, fellas.
Good fun.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed it very much too. Thank you.
We're going to be back soon. And don't forget here on Who's Views to like and subscribe. Make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. Give us a thumbs up. You know that helps us when it comes to all the algorithms. And always remember, whenever they drop a headline, we're going to be right here to talk about it. Until we see you next time on Who's Views. Ta-ra, everyone. Good night.
Good night, everyone. Bye-bye.
Right.